welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Thursday, March 6th, 2025. The year is flying by right now, man. We are, almost out of first quarter, which is insane to me that we're in March, but we made it. And baseball season right around the corner 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks from today, right now, we will be getting ready to, we'll be at a live broadcast. God willing, don't get hit by a van or something. We will be
us or the Padres.
Us.
Okay.
Us. I don't think you can make their offense any worse right now. If you had to, but
spring training.
I get it. It'd be nice to win a game, though. I will say, I know it's spring training, but I
say, don't waste them all now.
All right, save those runs for the regular season. Yeah. Eric just said 3 whole weeks. Bro. That sums it up. We have 3 more weeks of this. Of looking around going, oh, who's going to be the bench piece? Who's going to be that guy in the bullpen? Who's going to get the 5th starter? I'm ready to get it going, which should come as no surprise to anybody listening. If you know me at all, not the world's most patient person, especially as it gets closer and closer to baseball season. I just want it here. I want the games to count. I've got my fantasy draft tonight. I'm very excited about that. I might have sent my players over to Eno Saris to evaluate which ones I should keep.
Oh, my God.
I did it too, dude. I did it.
That seems like cheating.
Paulie,
I must say.
And Ben, I get my ass kicked in this league every single year. So I had to go to the big dogs. And Eno was kind enough to recommend it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Why don't you just send him over to AJ Preller, see what he thinks about your fantasy draft rankings and who you should take in your fantasy baseball draft tonight.
So I think I actually trust Eno more on fantasy. Now I could have AJ come out and evaluate my little league team, but I think he's more of a scout. I don't know that he gets down in the weeds and crunches the numbers of the guys that I should keep or not. But man, it's good to be here with you guys this morning. Paulie, you want to talk about what happened to you last night? I mean, it's been a hell of a week. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's been a real odd, sad week for sure. Paulie was in the vet ER all night.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Emergency vet.
Emergency
24 hour.
24 hour.
They were awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is reassuring, comforting.
Of course.
For sure.
I mean, you have to be dedicated if your job is to stay up all night to take care of someone's pets.
Yeah.
100%. It's awesome. Yeah, my dog, our dog Daphne, is she's dealing with something, and we've been trying to figure it out for a while now. And she actually had appointments this morning at our normal vet scheduled.
Yeah.
Get some scans, kind of see what's going on. And last night we kind of noticed some changes in her behavior and like how often she was going to the bathroom because she's on this medication that makes her drink a lot of water, et cetera, et cetera. And yesterday we noticed that her urine was like straight blood.
Good God.
Yeah, which was terrifying to say the least. To see that.
Yeah.
And not like, watery with a tint of red or something. I mean, just peeing blood.
How old is she?
She's about 10.
About 10.
Yeah. And so I was actually asleep, and Megan had like gone to let her out and woke me up at 11 o'clock. And she goes, I think we have to take her to the emergency vet. And she told me, I'm like, oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so we got dressed and got in the car.
11.
It was 11 o'clock. I mean,
I've been asleep for 3 straight hours at that point.
I was asleep for about 2 hours. Yeah. And then got home at like 2 a.m, 2:30, something like that.
It's the worst, man.
And yeah, it sucks, man. It's
terrible.
Vet bills and stuff like that. And like, it's an animal. They can't tell you like, hey, it's my ear.
Right.
Hey, my stomach's hurting. Or you have no idea.
No, and
it makes it so much more difficult.
Sometimes you feel, and the vets do such a great job, but man, sometimes you walk in there and you're like, all right, I know this is going to be expensive, but my pet is worth it, whatever. And you also kind of know, like, I know that they're pros, but sometimes they're like just kind of feeling around like, well, it could be this. It also could be this. Also, it could be a massive tumor. You know what I mean?
We need to scan for this, and that's going to be $900.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, then we're going to have to scan for this
Yeah.
just to rule it out.
Just to rule it
And
out.
that's another $1,100. Oh God.
I mean, you know what?
I know it, Ben.
You know,
Shout out to his family.
her family, but
Right, her family.
you should have been. They need like a Dexter for dogs. You know what I mean? Like, and I think Ben would be a good one. You call him, you're like, I can't do it, man. I do
have a heart.
I can't do it. And he's like, no worries. I'll come over. I'll pick her up. I'll take her for a nice ride, and I'll bring you back. I'll bring her back when it's all done. I don't think you'd have a problem doing it.
I don't think so either.
You could call your business
I would let him.
Old Yeller Incorporated, Old Yeller Inc.
It's tough. I was reading a very sad piece. You know, we had to put our dog Reggie down a few months ago.
It's terrible.
And I'm glad I went in with him and was there holding his paw
I've
all
been
the way
there.
to the end. But I was reading that a lot of pet owners can't bear it. They just kind of say goodbye, and then the pet goes into the back, and a lot of times the pet's like panicky because the owner's not there at the very end. Now, I mean, they also go back without you for checkups and stuff sometimes. So, you know, it's not necessarily wrong if that's what you did, but I felt good making the hard choice of actually being there right until the very end.
Same.
Got to
do it. I mean,
I think it would actually even hurt my heart if I saw like I was with the pet at the end and it was panicking and looking for its owner.
That would be the worst. That would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
The hard thing for if you were a vet and had to deal with that.
I talked about it when we put Jackson down last year. We did the home service where they come to your house and you put them in their bed and make it nice for them. There's no other way in my mind.
There's no other way.
There's just no other way to do it. Like, we had an appointment before we even really considered the home service, going to just our vet and getting it done. And I'm like, nah, the idea of like the two of us loading up our dog into the car, walking him into a vet's office and walking out without him. I'm like, I can't, I'm not doing that.
I've done it. It's terrible. I've buried a lot of pets in the last couple of years, man. I really have a ton. And it never, ever gets easier, but we're not at that point yet with that.
No, I see a lot of people like concerned in the chat. Like, I think we're okay. She's a lab mix and we think it might be like a cancer thing, like liver or kidney cancer, which is actually not that big of a deal. Dogs, they can live like comfortably for years with cancer.
The problem is when it's happened to me with several of my pets too. You never want somebody's, and it's the same with human beings. And I've told my wife this over and over and over and over. If my quality of life is such that I am a burden, I don't want to be around. I don't.
That's a dangerous statement to make.
I'm probably a burden to her anyway in semi-good health.
Well, you left those dishes out. So.
I get it.
Take you behind the...
I do understand that
you're gonna get home today and you're gonna go, Woods, it's time.
It's time.
It's like,
it's time.
No, it's not time yet.
She needs me. She needs me to drive to Vegas in the morning. So there's no way.
You gave me the authority, and I'm making the decision now.
But the thing is like you always wonder where to thread the needle of, okay, it's time. But your dog is looking at you like, I'm not ready. Like, I'm good. Let's go home and cuddle. And it's just a really...
Yeah, I don't think we're at that point yet.
Good.
Which is good. It's also tough to, like, you see the bills piling up, the vet bills, and you're like...
Also, it's like...
I love you, but...
It's also like, what's the cutoff? What's the cutoff?
Yeah, of course those conversations are happening.
What's the price?
Yeah.
What is too much? The price.
Ultimately, the night ended with they gave her some really good antibiotics. They think it's a UTI is what was dealing with the blood in the urine.
Yeah.
And they think that can be like pretty easily treated, like as soon as like within the next 24 hours.
That's good.
And then we'll kind of figure out the bigger picture issues, but I think she's going to be okay. But late night, long night.
It's just never easy, man. It's never easy. And we went through this a ton this year or last year. It's horrific. Jordan says, man, Ben Wood's Foreplay has been depressing lately. Yeah. I mean,
it's been a rough week.
It has been a rough week. There's no question about it. There's just no other way to put it. But it's our lives. It's our real life. And, it is what it is. Always going to try to be real with you guys, but that's where Paulie was. So Paulie's a little out of sorts this morning. He's on a couple of hours of sleep. You've got a stain on your shirt. I can't stop staring at it because I have the same one on the same color shirt. It looks like when you walked in, I thought it was water and
lactating.
It's right by your nipple. But you know what?
No idea where that came from. It looks old.
So I have that I have that same shirt, same color shirt, same brand and everything, because I got you what I wear. And I have the same, it's like an oil stain. It's that Jersey Mike's way got you one time.
Something like that.
And you can't get it out.
I didn't even notice it.
It's in forever.
That's a bummer.
Well, now I'm staring at it for the rest of the show.
Well, I was also sitting here, and when I sat down there was crumbs on my microphone, which is weird. I don't know if that's a Chris Ello or Matt Scraby thing, but I had to like brush some crumbs off the microphone.
It's disgusting.
It's hard. I mean, obviously we have a shared workspace.
I've got some on mine.
You have two?
Come here.
Is it bourbon cake crumbs?
Yeah. No, I took it. I took the cake yesterday. I didn't even leave it for anyone.
Did we leave the crumbs? Well, we were eating.
How did you gain all the weight?
I took the bourbon cake home, and I didn't leave it for anybody else to eat.
So maybe there are crumbs. I don't even know.
You guys didn't see me walking out with the box under my arm?
Crumbs over here, too. There's a lot of crumbs.
I thought you put it in the kitchen like normal.
No, I took it home. Nobody else. I know it's sent to us. Nobody else gets that.
I agree.
Obviously, we have a shared workspace in here, different employees. And, I'm sure a lot of you out there have to deal maybe with shared workspaces. It's common, obviously, in this business and in TV where you have a morning shift and a night shift. And, you don't have separate studios or separate offices for everybody. But when you have to, when you have to share your workspace with someone else, if you know it's your mess,
you're fine.
It's a lot easier to deal with. It's like, I left that mess. So I will clean it up. But it's your mess. When you don't know where the mess was coming from, even if it's probably innocuous, you start thinking in your head, like, well, okay, where did this come from? Who left it here? How gross is it? How disgusting is it? So it's just the touch of hypochondriac in me. I think we all have a little bit of that, right? That if it's not our own mess, it's way worse.
I don't like being in the fallout of other people's food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be anywhere near like somebody else's food, their crumbs, their grease, their, sauces that they left spilled behind. We had a fairly strict no eating policy in here, but I think that's kind of gotten soft.
Well, we're eating bourbon cake.
You're a real crumb bum.
Yes, we are crumb bums.
Hey, to whoever left
and
these crumbs,
you're a crumb creep.
That's right.
M. McKee, and I've heard them do this before, so it's probably Ello's cracker crumbs. I've heard them talking about he eats like crackers in the middle of the show, like almost every day. So they could be cracker crumbs, they could be cake crumbs.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, he has like it drives Scraby crazy that he has his package of crackers. That he eats.
What kind? Saltines?
I'm not sure if they're Ritz's.
Get a little taste of what was left in the microphone. I don't want to do this.
Don't do that.
Those are Ritz.
That's the best crack I've ever had.
If it's buttery, it's a Ritz.
Yeah.
Salty, it's a saltine.
It's disgusting. He eats crackers at it right there?
Right here.
That's what it was.
It could be.
What a crumb creep. He's literally a crumb creep.
You're a real crumb bum. You're a crumb creep cow.
It's incredible. All right, well, sorry about that.
Okay, Ella just snacking throughout the show. A lot of people do.
I have an apple.
Yeah, you bring a snack.
I have an orange, and I'll eat that. And I have a banana.
We do 4-hour shows generally here.
Yeah, you need some energy or whatever.
And I don't mind that, you got to eat sometimes to have a little bit of energy. And generally it's fairly clean in here, but I was weird this morning. Just crumbs.
There's crumbs on this one too.
I think I'm good over here. It's good to know that Scravy's disgusted.
And Mickey says they're Trader Joe's rice crackers, and he leaves them in the fridge here. So if you want to go grab some, you can go find them in our Odyssey fridge.
That is unbelievable. Keegan, I did not have a piece of cake on the way home. I did have a piece the minute I walked into my home. I'm not going to be driving home like a creep.
It was a very crummy cake.
Not if you eat it like I ate it. It's so moist you can kind of roll it up into a bowl and just kind of shove the whole thing in your mouth. It was really good. My wife liked it too. I should have saved some for Megan. I didn't even think about you guys. When I see that cake, I lose all faculties. Right? Like I just wrapped it up and took it home, and I didn't say anything to you guys, and you didn't say anything to me. So I thought I was in the clear. But anyway,
it's all good, man.
All right, thank you.
It's your world. We're just lucky enough to be alive.
They're not allowed to eat at their desks at work. Neither are we.
We're really not.
We can have a little bit more next year when
that is a rule that is flagrantly violated, though. Here.
Yeah, it is. It is. As our most.
Yeah.
As our most.
We're not supposed to have any beverages either.
Yeah, I've got my water
But
trough. You can't
I've
do a
got
show
my
without
coffee.
liquid. There's no
Who
way.
can't have? I mean, I have to have some coffee.
I gotta have
during
liquid.
the show. It's very early in
morning
the morning.
radio. You can't have coffee.
You not have no coffee allowed in the studio in the morning. What? No chance.
Yeah, I drank a gallon of water in here. So listen, sorry it's been so depressing. We'll try to. Well, I mean, we're gonna talk about the Padres. They lost again yesterday. They've won 3 times in spring training. Can't hit. Can't catch. Pitching's been okay. Starting pitching, we talk about that. But yeah,
Lost to the Rockies.
lost to the Rockies. So clearly,
Get them all out of your system. Like I said,
Clearly-
get them
clearly
out of your
they're not-
system now.
clearly they're not taking this seriously right now. All this garbage from us and pulling on the same rope and all that, it's not happening. So we got to figure it out.
All right, we will we'll get into it, set the menu for the program today. Got some giveaways for you. Hopefully a decent Thursday edition of Ben and Woods coming your way next. First, though, I want to tell you about Trust and Will. Trust and Will is something we learned about, Woods, during the holiday break. I hadn't given it a ton of thought. I just felt, all right, I'm in my 40s. I'll deal with this down the line somewhere.
Yeah.
But you don't know what your future holds. And if something did happen to you, don't you want to make sure that your family can be taken care of, that your wishes are set down just so they don't have to worry about it? They can take out a document. It's very easy. Then you can avoid a lot of the hassles that could be forced upon them if you leave them without any direction.
Yeah, no question. So when you reach out to Trust and Will, go to trustandwill.com. Read all about, learn all about the trust and the will, but really the trust. It's the only thing that keeps your family out of probate court. It's lengthy, it's costly. You don't want it. All right. So make sure you investigate the trust as well. But it's very simple to get this done. Only takes about 20-30 minutes. Go to trustandwill.com and use the code San Diego. It's one word, San Diego. You go to trustandwill.com, use San Diego when you check out. You'll get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents. Again, trustandwill.com, San Diego when you check out.
I know you're kind of joking about the Padres and their spring training results.
Behind every joke, there is a little hint of truth.
I do feel like there are fans who are actually concerned about the results of spring training. Let me try to explain it quickly from my perspective before we set the menu. I look at a spring training game. Think about it this way, especially at this point in spring training. You have your regulars have been in there.
Yeah.
So, people look at the lineup and they go, well, there's Manny and Jackson Merrill and Tatis, and they're not scoring a lot of runs. But generally, if you watch a lot of baseball games, occasionally you get a big first inning. But usually, a couple at-bats where you feel out the starting pitcher, and then as you get through the third time through the order, you start attacking a little bit more, you get a feel for it, you start scoring runs as the game goes on. In this case, you never get to see the pitchers again because they keep cycling through. The batters, the starters come out after 4 or 5 innings, so they don't ever get into their normal groove of a game where they're seeing the opposition. It's not a non-real baseball game because it's not the same players. It's a non-real baseball game because it's not played at all the same way a regular season baseball game is played.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close.
It actually begs the question. Are we doing this the right way?
Well, that
you know what I mean?
The thing, is it smarter to do more bullpen games where you're mixing up a lot of pitchers, and if you did it that way, would it be harder on opposing teams because they don't get those constant looks, 2 and 3 looks at the same pitcher, which as much as we love a starting pitcher who goes deep into a game because it's good for the rest of the team.
You don't want that in spring training.
you don't want that in spring training, but there's a definite penalty. Third time through the order is it is one of the clearest stats in Major League Baseball that when a pitcher gets the third time through the order, they're just not going to be anywhere near as effective as they were the first 2 times. Now, you could say we're never letting our pitchers go a third time through the order. They're just going to go
twice,
4 innings, maybe get to the 5th if they're really throwing well. That's a strategy, but then you tax your bullpen all year long, and generally they end up getting fatigued July, August, and you don't have much of a pen left. So it's a balancing act, but it's never really a great idea if you want to win a game to have a starter in for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't really care about the starters. I care about the starting pitching. I like to see my guys get knocks. I like to see some of the guys that are fighting for jobs get knocks. It's important to them. If Manny, there was a stat that came out yesterday. Manny's seen 10 pitches at spring training. He swung at 7 of them he's had 10 ABs. He swung at the first pitch. I don't care. I'm not worried about Manny. I'm not.
You also have guys
weird though.
You also have guys like Jake. You look at his average; it looks horrible. He's hit, I think, 8 of his last 10 balls have had a hard exit velocity. I think he has 1 hit though. They're just, he's just lining the ball right at people. On a small sample size, you'll never be able to tell the difference between the guy who's blooping in singles and lining hard out.
I think though, for me, it's like if I wasn't looking for something in a spring training game, I wouldn't watch a spring training game. I don't like exhibition baseball that much. You know what I mean? But I was looking yesterday. Look, man, I'll be honest with you. I was looking to see if Xander Bogaerts could start hitting the ball hard, right? And he's not had a great spring. I was looking if Luis Camposano could do something, and he again did not impress yesterday. And just kind of had some weird lazy boxed balls and things like that. And those are the things I'm looking at. I just as a fan that's looking for something to nitpick, Mike Schilt would absolutely come up behind me right now and put an ice pick in my temple.
He would.
If he heard this conversation.
He would, but he also might be looking at some of those things with a guy like Luis Camposano. Now, with Xander Bogaerts, he's not going to care. He's going to say, Xander, what are you giving me?
He'll figure it out.
Once the bell rings, what are you giving me? And then, you have to have at least some clear-eyed evaluation.
For sure.
But he's not going to care about Xander.
No,
now, Luis, he might care a little bit about.
That's the thing is those guys that are looking to make the squad, and are they gonna show you anything right now? And so yeah, I don't care. I don't care. It was a joke that we lost to the Rockies yesterday, but you would like to see some of your guys get off to hot starts. Now I'm looking in Cincinnati. One of my son's favorite players is Ellie De La Cruz, and frankly, he's one of mine too. He's one of the most exciting players I've seen in baseball in the last 10 years. It's pretty awesome, dude. The guy's hitting about 700. He's yakking balls over deads. Does it mean it will am I going to draft him higher tonight because he's having a good spring training? No, I'm not. because you got to get out to Cincinnati and you got to do it on a daily basis, right? But it's cool to see. It's cool to see your guys that are stars playing like stars, right? I mean, I'm sure Dodger fans are pretty elated after what they saw out of Roki Sasaki the other night, as they should be. They showed a graphic. I don't know if you guys saw this. One of like the pitching ninja guys. I'll try to find it.
I saw it too. The release points
oh my God.
of every single pitch, whether it was a breaking ball, a splitter, a fastball, just dial into the exact same point in space every time.
46 pitches, and it was the size of a pinhead of 46 little dots in there, all in the same. He did not deviate. He didn't swing out wide for his splitter, didn't short arm a slider, Ben. Every single one was in the same spot. Precision. So yeah, I think there are things you can get excited about at spring training. Record's not one of them. I really don't care about the record. I don't care. I don't care if they ever won a game. But what I'd like to see is those guys that we're all counting on. I'd like to see them, playing good baseball right now. And for hitters, it's not, you may be trying out a new stance, whatever. You may be trying something new, whatever. There it is. Paulie just put it up. Good God. That is insane if you're watching in the chat right now. But yeah, so I don't care about the record. I really don't. I'm joking when I say that.
Spring training, anything bad, you just say, it's just spring training.
And
probably
if it's
just working
good,
on something. And if it's good,
you
then
should
it
also
obviously
say
is carrying over.
It's just
Correct.
spring training. That's the hard part, because if it's good, you kind of have to say the same thing as well.
Prolific the Great says it's a trip. Nobody wants to talk about Cronenworth and his struggles and how he should be benched or traded. I mean, I think a trade is maybe on the table, man. It might be. I just don't know.
Especially with yesterday's
news.
Jay Cronenworth is 2 for 13 this spring, but 6 of the past 7 balls he's hit have had an exit velocity of at least 95 miles per hour.
That's good. He's been a little unlucky. Catching barrels. That's good. That's a good thing. Excuse me.
All right. Here's what we got coming up on the program today. We'll have more Padres talk. Michael King's performance yesterday in spring training. If you didn't hear our chat about Jose Iglesias, he should be in camp today, according to Mike Schilt. So adding a new player to the mix today. Get into some Padres talk coming up. We have a couple of giveaways at 7 o'clock. I remember our final pair of SDSU tickets. Last game of the season at Viejas Arena this Saturday. And I believe it's not a must win, but I will explain what I think the Aztecs need to do to now make the NCAA tournament the rest of the way. And we'll give away those tickets coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. Regular features like Don't Do This, Real or Fake on a Throwback Thursday. Paulie's got some Throwback Thursday clips for us today. Spring Training Sammy will join us in our 8 o'clock hour at 8:35 from Peoria, Arizona. Get our Reindl Report, biggest fan, and all of that in the 9 o'clock hour. But when we come back, let's talk some Padres and yesterday's Michael King performance against the Colorado Rockies. The pitching staff does look pretty good. They look really, really good. It is spring training,
that's
but
something that you can get
been an encouraging sign so far, and we'll talk about it next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466.
All right. If you haven't noticed, looking outside, it's gray. It is raining. It is not an outside day in San Diego. We have lots of nice outside days. This is an inside sort of day. And if you're looking for an inside sort of day activity that is a lot of fun, may I suggest making a very short drive down to Chula Vista and going to 7 Mile Casino for a little inside card playing fun.
Well, it's funny. I'm leaving for Las Vegas tomorrow, Benny, and
it's an inside town.
It's an inside town, but it's as cool as Vegas is. I know what I'm walking into when I walk into our hotel for 2 days.
It's exciting for like
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
And then you realize, oh my God, get me out of here. And all the walking that you have to do, all the parking that you have to do. That's why 7 Mile Casino is great. You pull right in, you get out, you run inside, you can be playing.
You're not going to get your steps in at 7 Mile Casino.
No, you're not. Yeah. You're not. It's not a long walk from your parking spot to the California style blackjack table. But that's why we love it, man. It's a place for card players. Check it out for yourself at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
This segment of Ben Woods is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is there to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. AJ Preller has there's plenty of talent, I think, on the roster right now. Too much to actually make a 26-man squad.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, is there another move coming somewhere? I heard Ella talking about it yesterday afternoon, and I tended to agree with his logic. You're seeing a lot of guys, you've seen a lot of like Eggy Rosario here early in spring getting a lot of at-bats. Is that because the Padres really are hoping Eggy wins a job, or is it because they know he's out of options, they can't send him to AAA, and they'd like to trade him and get something for him from another team that looks and goes, that guy's having a decent spring, and we need a flexible guy who can play a little infield and maybe move to the outfield or DH and hit against lefties? Is Eggy Rosario simply being showcased for trades the rest of spring training because there's so many options right now that it's going to be tough for him to win a job on this team?
I think if you're a San Diego Padre, Ben, at any level, I think your entire life is you're on display to be included in a potential trade. I think the way that business has been done here, and if you feel good about it, if you feel bad about it, if you feel indifferent about it, literally, like, no one is safe. I mean, honestly, like, no one is safe. We asked AJ Preller, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I listen on everything and everybody, as a good GM should do. You should never turn down it would be different. It'd be different if it was like, if he was actively, like, think about Nico Harrison in Dallas, how he basically called Rob Pelinka. He's like, look, Luka's out there, but I'm not putting him out to market, right? What if AJ Preller did that for one of his really great players and didn't get the best return back, which is what I feel like the Dodgers did when they shopped Mookie Betts, and they just took whatever the Red Sox gave him, and it was nothing, right? Like, it was a terrible, terrible deal. But I think with the Padres, Benny, bro, everybody's on display. So I think there's absolutely truth to that. I think that absolutely happens. Like, everybody that's on this team could be moved at any time. And that's Jake Cronenworth. That is, Xander's going to be a tough one always because of the no trade clause. Man, he's probably here till he's done, I would guess. Toddy is one that everybody talks about every single year. Like, Padres need to just move him and get a haul. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Jackson Merrill is not on the trade block, but I mean, Dylan Cease, yes, he's probably still taking calls. Luis Ariz, he's probably still taking calls. Michael King, he's probably still taking calls. So I think everybody's on display for a trade.
Let's get the notion out of everybody's mind, though, that the Padres are somehow on the verge of a tear down and rebuild. They literally have made 0 teardown moves this offseason.
Right.
They've
lost players to free agency like every other team has.
Yes, exactly. They haven't re-signed some guys, but they have not traded away anybody, right?
Right.
I mean, not a single player have they traded away to save any salary whatsoever this offseason. And I honestly, I fully expected at least someone at this point to have been traded away.
Me too.
In a bit of a cost, effective move, pick up some younger players, maybe address some other needs. I would not have been shocked if that had happened. I still won't be entirely shocked if it does before opening day, but so far there has been 0 moves that indicate there is any retrenchment or anything other than the Padres would like to win this season, go to the playoffs and see if they can make another run at a World Series title. I think the Jose Iglesias signing, though, as we talked about yesterday, I think that does give him a little more freedom to maybe make some of those moves, maybe. And I have my gut feeling on who it would be. But again, you have to have a trade partner that's willing to trade with you and absorb money and all that. What you don't want to do is attach a really good prospect to, like, if you're going to move Croney, right? You don't want to attach a good prospect to move Jake Cronenworth. No.
His contract isn't that bad. It's not ideal, but it's not that bad. It's not back-breaking, franchise-altering. But this is interesting, man. Friar Fanatic yesterday actually tweeted out, according to Fangraphs, the guys with options available. And I think it really makes it it makes it a little bit.
I wasn't sure on some of these, so go.
I'm not sure
them.
either, but again, it's according to Fangraphs. So Connor Joe still has two
I
options
saw that
available
yesterday as well, and that is that's interesting because that flexibility could be important for the Padres this season.
Sucks for Connor Joe.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No one wants to be on the El Paso, flight back and forth.
Right.
But
I was going to ask you, like earlier, you listed off all the big names, but when you talk about all the players that the Padres have added this offseason, maybe with the exception of Nick Pivetta, they've all been fringe guys, depth pieces.
Sure.
Hayward, Joe, Iglesias,
Sheets,
Tyler Wade, essentially on a one-year deal, right? For him. So is AJ adding all of these fringe depth players to let him, let 8 guys fight for 4 spots or whatever? Or is it he's stockpiling to make another trade?
Well, I think, it could be either. It could be either with AJ Preller. So Connor Joe has 2 options left.
It'd be weird to see him in the minors, but
Gavin Sheets has 1.
I don't think Gavin Sheets is going to make this team.
I don't think so either. Luis Campusano has 1. Martin Maldonado has 0. Yuri Gurriel has 0. Yuli Gurriel. Who's Yuri Gurriel? Who is Yuri Gurriel? Yuli Gurriel has 0.
He's buddies with Dylan Thieth.
Mike Brasso has 1. Tirso has 2. That's the one that would bump me up. If the guy fights and scraps and claws and hits his ass off and plays his ass off, put him on the major league roster.
If Tirso is not traded, and I don't think he's going to be, you will see Tirso Ornelas this year in the big leagues. Whether it's on opening day,
my thing is,
or 2 weeks into the season, I don't know, but they're going to need Tirso Ornelas at some point. You're going to see him with the San Diego Padres.
My thing, though, is if he's the guy that truly earns the job, but he has 2 options remaining, and you give it to a Jason Hayward or somebody like that hasn't had a great spring, just because Tirso has options, that doesn't
seem fair. But you have to, if you haven't totally ruled out a guy like Jason Hayward, you have to give him a shot.
Yeah.
And if you think that he could still contribute, you give him a shot. And if it's not working the first few weeks of the season, then you can, make a change, and you'll have Tirso potentially waiting to call up. Now, maybe you don't need 3 weeks and you can make that decision before spring training's over.
Yeah.
Tirso is your opening day left fielder, but you can't do the other way. You can't go, hey, let's put Nick Tirso the opening day, and he's struggling, and they go, oh, well, we bring Jason Hayward back. No, you lost him. You didn't have any options. You had to DFA him because you didn't have the right to send him down to AAA. So in that sense, you do have to give those guys with 0 options, generally the veterans, the first crack at it earlier in the season. And we've seen AJ Preller go that route where, the veterans have come up, looked bad, and then they've had to go, see you later.
Eggy has no options, so they're giving him a look right now. And again, I do wonder if other teams are calling on him. Brandon Lockridge got 3. Oscar Gonzalez has 2. Peralta, the Rule 5, has 5, and Forrest Wall has 2. So, I don't think Martin Maldonado and Yuli Gurriel make this roster.
I do not either.
I don't think they do. I think Eggy could make this roster, and partly because of a symptom that he has no options.
Yep.
Right. So,
also, don't forget, as Paulie said, the fringe acquisitions. Much of last year's team was built on fringe acquisitions as well, like David Peralta and Donovan Solano. I mean, those were the fringiest of fringe acquisitions when they happened. And then later in the season, you felt like these are really solid guys, contributing vets. They're not when you first get them, though. Remember, David Peralta was, I think, 1 or 2 at-bats away from being, thanks, but we're moving in a different direction. Then he got hot, and all of a sudden, he was an important contributor in August into September for the Padres.
No question. I know I've romanticized. Now, Donovan Solano was a brilliant pickup, I thought. I really do. And I thought Peralta was a good pickup as well, but I think I've romanticized David Peralta more than
I'm more excited about Jose Iglesias than I was about Donovan Solano when he picked it.
Correct.
Now, if he performs anywhere as well as Donovan Solano did, I'd be thrilled with that.
Correct.
But I was not as excited about Donovan Solano. I'm more excited about Jose Iglesias.
Oh yeah, me too.
At this point,
me too.
We need to take a little check of traffic. We can talk some pitching. Michael King making his Cactus League debut yesterday against the Rockies. That's coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Some spotty showers hitting the county, guys, so please take that into consideration. Leave extra time for travel. Clearing a crash for the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island. Just before the old toll plaza, a couple cars involved. They are over to the left shoulder. Also traveling on southbound 5 right before Genesee. We have reports of a stalled vehicle in the center divide. Looks like it may have had a blowout. Fortunately, no other trouble spots on our roads at this time. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fact.
Surprising, I mean, not surprising, but a lot rides on Michael King this year for the Padres, building on what he did last year, which was fantastic. Last year at this time, Michael King was fairly unknown quantity. I mean, you knew he had good stuff, but his experience starting was limited to 9 starts with the Yankees.
We knew the Yankees didn't want to give him
converted from a reliever. You knew you had some excitement. There was promise. Now he's coming back as one of the top starters in the National League. Was 7th in the Cy Young voting, and the point can easily be made that eliminate the first month of the season, April, and he was the best pitcher in the National League from mid-May through September. I don't know that there was anyone better than Michael King last year. If he picks up where he left off, the Padres have a potential Cy Young Award winner in Michael King as one of their top guys in the rotation. And yesterday looked pretty decent for a first spring training outing. Had a little control problems in the first inning. You almost expect that the first time you're out there on the mound. Worked around him, though. 2 2/3 shutout innings, 3 strikeouts. And, for the most part, I thought he looked very Michael King-y on the mound. Good movement, mixing it up the way he does.
He made pitching ninja, so that's always a good sign.
Always a good sign. That means the ball is moving as it should be.
Some good stuff.
So that was undoubtedly a positive sign for the Padres yesterday that Michael King looked really good. And now the question is how much more can you rely on him? He pitched more than I thought he would be able to last year. He told us I didn't meet my goal of 180 innings.
Yep.
So, we're definitely going for that now this year. What did he say? 200? I don't even know if that's a realistic goal, but clearly he's got it in his mind. He wants to help this team. He wants to have a huge monster kind of season, and he's got it in him. He's got it in him to have a huge monster season.
No question. I mean, he is a guy that is when he's on, man, he is just as nasty as it gets, dude. It's the 2-seam, it's the changeup yesterday, it's the slider, it is all of it. It is nasty, man. So he's a force when he's right. And that dude just seems locked in, man, on what he wants to do, Ben, for his career. He's got his goals set, wants to be a part of this, wants to go out and he wants to be, and look, let's be honest. He wants to get paid like a starting pitcher. He wants to get paid like a starting pitcher and a starting pitcher only. No more of this. Oh, man, we'll move him to the bullpen in the playoffs. No, he wants to be a number 1, number 2 starter in the playoffs. That's what he wants. And he's got the stuff to do it.
He will, he's going to be a dad.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Congratulations to he and his wife, Sheila.
Instagram post from Sheila.
Yeah.
The bump is showing a little bit. So that's probably going to happen sometime during the season, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think July, they said, which is great.
The Padre for life meme.
Get it. Padre dad.
Yeah, Padre.
Oh, yeah. You're a Padre for life. I get it. Well, you'll love it. You'll love it, Michael. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's
I
awesome.
mean, would you feel comfortable as a Padres fan if they announced an extension for Michael King today?
Yes. Yeah. Are you kidding?
Is it a bad thing that Michael King is pitching for his life-changing contract this year?
Yeah, it's bad for us. It's bad. Bad for AJ Preller.
It's bad. It's bad for the finances of the Padres.
Yeah,
it's really good for his motivation and potential success on the field this year, though.
Yeah, Andy says, did it concern you when he told you there weren't any extension talks? 1,000%. Yes. I wanted them extended last year, but things were certainly up in the air with this team. So, I love that dude, man. I'd love to see him.
I wonder if when we get to the summer and the Padres, if they're playing well and they know, all right, we're not going to be able to shed any salary, we're going over the luxury tax this year. If that makes it actually easier to just, all right, we can just sign the extension now.
Yeah.
It's right now you go,
but you're dumb if you're him. That's a dumb move for him.
If
in
you
July,
get to July, you might as well finish out the season and hit the free agent market. That's true.
1,000%.
Yeah.
He's if he's pitching like he's capable of.
We think it was going to happen. It was going to happen this spring.
Bro, you need to catch him after a rough outing in Colorado where he gives up 7. You're like, hey, that was terrible, but just sign this and we'll work it out.
Would you like to be set for life?
Yeah, we'd like to be set for life and live here. You want to live here? So, yeah, man.
All right, we'll come back. Hour number 2, give away the final pair of Aztecs basketball tickets for the season. What do they need to do to make the NCAA tournament? Next on The Fan. I probably spend a little too much time in the month of March checking bracketologies and bubble watches. This one's particularly stressful for San Diego State fans because every single day, they're right on the cusp, especially after the loss to UNLV on Tuesday. The updated bracketologies yesterday, most of them had the Aztecs either as a 10 or an 11 seed, one of the last 4 teams in the tournament. Others will be updated. I haven't seen anyone knock them out of the field yet, but remember, that's before there's any bid stealers in conference tournaments, which are getting underway this week and next week. There are some teams at this point, Woods, if you're an Aztecs fan, you want to be cheering against.
Tell me.
Other bubble teams that you want to cheer against, teams like North Carolina, you'd like to see lose some games. They're right on the bubble. Oklahoma, that was they won yesterday against number 15 Missouri. They're like 4-15 in the SEC, but they're still a bubble team because that conference is so deep. I know, isn't that crazy? Because they had a good non-conference and then they got to the SEC and they've been totally overmatched. But even though they've had a terrible conference schedule, they're still in the mix.
They're 4-15,
and they still are on the bubble, I believe. Yeah, which is crazy. They beat number 15 Missouri yesterday, though, to help their case. Xavier is a bubble team. They won on the road at Butler yesterday. Butler's not great, but any road win late in the season, that's going to help Xavier. So you watch these other bubble teams win as the Aztecs lose, and you're going to start getting a little bit more nervous. So I was trying to decide, just for my own peace of mind, what do I need to see for the Aztecs for me to feel comfortable when I turn on, Selection Sunday on, CBS on Sunday afternoon, that I'm sitting down and I'm not like every name that pops up, I'm going, come on, please, let me see the Aztecs. Please let me see the Aztecs. What is actually going to make me feel comfortable? And here's what I ended up deciding yesterday. If the Aztecs win 3 of their next 4 games, I think they're in.
It's a tall order, no?
It is.
Yeah.
So what would that look like?
Beat Nevada and win 2 in the Mountain
Beat Nevada, and then they'd have to win 2 in the Mountain West tournament.
They'd have to
get to the final. For me, not to get in. For me to feel comfortable sitting down on Selection
So no matter
Sunday.
what, they need to get to the final.
Yes.
In
Now,
your
if they lose to Nevada,
then they got to win it.
Then they have to win their last 3. Which that
bare minimum, they have to.
That would be automatically in. Now, if they lose to Nevada and get to the final and go 2-2, I don't know that that's good enough either for me to feel comfortable. Could they get in? Yeah, if there's not a lot of bid stealers, they could still get in if they win. Let's say they win on Saturday against Nevada. They're favored. And then they likely play Boise State in the first round of the Mountain West Conference tournament. Boise State is a bubble team as well. They are right there. A lot of the bracketologists think that the Mountain West is going to get 3 teams into the tournament. New Mexico and Utah State, pretty good bets that they're going to get in. So there's a good chance that San Diego State is fighting for that 3rd team in. Right now, if you compared the resumes, Boise State on the metrics, they're actually ahead of the Aztecs in the net. But I think in the overall resume, given the win over Houston, Creighton, and the fact that the Aztecs have swept Boise State, you definitely give it to San Diego State. If they win all 3 against Boise State, I don't think there's any way a committee can go, yeah, they're really close in everything, but the Aztecs won 3 straight against Boise State. Yeah. We're going to put Boise State in? No. They'd put San Diego State in. So if it comes down to that, that would be a huge game in the first round of the Mountain West tournament, if that is indeed who the Aztecs end up playing. But if I really want to feel comfortable, I'd like to see 3 wins in 4 games, and they're going to be tough games, and please get this one on Saturday against Nevada.
That's kind of where it starts for me, right? You got to win. You got to win on Saturday.
Otherwise, then I feel like they need to win the Mountain West tournament, which would be 3 and 4. Then you'd guarantee. Then I'd be very comfortable if they, won the Mountain West tournament. The
article from Mark Ziegler yesterday that was in the UT talking about, some thoughts on where they stand as far as major metrics. They're fading, he said. KPI. What is KPI?
It's a major metric. It's not Ken Palm.
It's
That's
not
a different
Ken Palm.
one. Even
Why
though it
wouldn't
starts
it?
with K and
Right.
P, it's a different one.
They have them at 40. It's the only major metric that still likes the Aztecs, he says. The UNLV loss dropped them from 42 to 48 in Ken Palm, and they're in the 50s in the other. 52 in the net, 54 in BPI, 56 in T rank. And he says that's perilously close to NIT territory. So I can see what you're saying. I mean, you have to win this last game. You have to win this last regular season game. And then you let the chips fall there where they may, because he goes on to talk about, too, things like pedigree, Ben. And he says this isn't listed on team sheets, but it exists in the minds of the selection committee. You feel good about putting the San Diego State Aztecs in your tournament because of what they've done. 7-2 in the last 2 tournaments, lost to eventual champion UConn both times. You don't feel like you screwed up. If they go in and let's say they win one game in the Mountain West tournament, and this is assuming they win on Saturday, they win one game in the Mountain West tournament. You still feel good about putting the Aztecs in your tournament because of who their coach is, who their players are, and what they've done.
You know what you're getting with them.
Right.
This feels a little hypocritical because when the Aztecs didn't have pedigree, had not made any deep tournament runs, I would always say, why does it matter? It's totally different team every year. Evaluate the team based on this year. It doesn't matter what the name is on the front of the uniform or how famous their coach is. Just pick the best teams and put them in the tournament. And when San Diego State did get snubbed, and they got snubbed a couple of times. Remember, they were one of the first teams out that year and were a 1 seed in the NIT, and everyone thought they should have been in the NCAA tournament. But
the year they went 19-1 in conference play, and the Mountain West was so bad that because they didn't win the tournament,
it was that the year they
lost.
Absolute
trash.
They lost
19-1, I think, was the record.
Is that the year they lost at Petco Park against USD? And I think that was killed them. An outside game against a city rival, and they lost that early in the season, and they held it against them the whole year. So back then I was saying ignore pedigree, but now I'd like them. Okay, well, if you hurt the Aztecs before, then take advantage of it now.
But now you have pedigree.
You do, exactly.
And in those days when you would say ignore pedigree, you probably saw a lot of teams with pedigree getting in that maybe shouldn't.
I know.
And now that you've earned pedigree, is not something that is just handed. Like, you have to go out and earn it. And once you earn it, you have it, And I think, again, you can sleep well. If they win on Saturday and they win 1 game, 2 games would be ideal in the Mountain West tournament. Winning the whole thing would be, obviously, you're going in. That'd be great. That said, you feel pretty okay about putting them in, right? Like, you feel pretty okay if you're the committee going, yeah, dude, it's Brian Dutcher. It's these guys. We know we're going to get great defense. They've had a good showing. Yeah, they're in. Aztecs are in. They had a brutal non-conference schedule this year, right? Like, and they played in it.
Really well. So some of their best basketball all year.
But the good thing is it's totally in their hands. Totally. Just losing that game last weekend, that's a tough one. Go ahead and right the ship today, and then you're probably going to make it.
It's funny. Another bubble team that they're battling against is Ohio State. That's right there. Micah Parrish had a huge game the other day for Ohio State to win in overtime. You've seen Lamont Butler do huge things for Kentucky. For Auburn, one of their best players this year has been
Chad Baker
Mazara,
crazy
former Aztec. I mean, they're all over the place now. They're the number 1 team in the country, and he's had a huge season as well. So Dutch is churning them out, no doubt about that. He is absolutely churning them out. And we got some tickets to give away to the final home game of the season. Let's do it right now. If you'd like to win 2 tickets to see the Aztecs take on the Nevada Wolfpack on Saturday night at Viejas Arena, be our 5th caller right now at 833-288-0973. 5th caller, 833-288-0973. You can win some tickets. You can get your own tickets at goaztecs.com. Last chance, hopefully, unless they're in the NIT and get a home game, which you don't want. You want this to be the last home game of the season.
Yes, you do.
For San Diego State, because anything else is actually bad news. So a chance to say goodbye. Not too many. Hopefully, most of the guys come back next year, but Jared Coleman-Jones, senior night, they will certainly honor a couple of guys. And, some of the contributors to the program, the walk-on top guys that you don't see all the time as well.
How about Uncle Teddy?
And Uncle Teddy, last home game. They honored him, a couple of weeks ago, but that'll officially be his last Viejas Arena game again.
Win one for Uncle Teddy.
Yeah, winning for Uncle Teddy.
We have a little bit of Padres news here.
I saw that.
Just
really?
Kind of a minor update, but it is
literally a minor
update.
Yep.
First reassignment of the spring, and I was going through the names.
There's a couple big ones in there.
Big ones would be Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries have been optioned to or reassigned to minor league camp. Padres announced they still have 61 players in major league camp.
Shouldn't surprise anybody.
Yep.
You knew that they weren't in the plans to make the team, even though we've kind of bandied about the idea of Ethan Salas. If they change their mind, they can always add him back to the, at some point. I think Brandon Valenzuela is a catcher who's hasn't really gotten much of a look. I think I've only seen him once or
haven't heard his name
twice
much
at all. He's had an
yeah.
at bat or two, so maybe he's not quite as in the plans as maybe we thought he might have been. Romeo Sanabria has a big first base power hitting guy. He has also been optioned down. A couple of other pitchers, left-handers, Austin Krob, Braden Nett, sent down. He's looked really, really good, but that doesn't mean they're not still high on these guys, and they just, you have to make these accounting moves essentially, bookkeeping for your rosters at this point in spring training.
35 more guys.
Oh, yeah. It's a long way to go, and you need to start clearing out some of the locker space in the big league. Start dialing it in that clubhouse, and moving some of the guys to the minor league side. That's just what they do at this time of the year. Let me just throw in, as we were talking college basketball, really great feature yesterday. I didn't know the writer, but CBSSports.com did a long piece on UCSD and their fantastic season that they've had, and where they have pulled guys from all over the world, from New Zealand and Texas and South America, to find a bunch of guys who have come together, unselfish players, skilled basketball guys who are overlooked, from Division II schools that have transferred, have committed to go through that process where they weren't even eligible for the NCAA tournament last year, and now to be here and have like the third most wins or fourth most wins in the country.
Crazy, man.
And just having such a crazy good year. I am really excited when I fill out my bracket next week to hopefully pick UCSD for an upset or two.
I got to ask you, so your dad went there, played hoops. Your brother went there, played hoops. If they make the tournament, and it looks like they will, Ben, are they going to travel?
The fan base, or my brother or my dad? I think depending on where they would, they absolutely could.
Really? Where are the locations? Do you know off the top of your head?
They may be in the West. Denver is one of them.
Yeah.
I forget where the other West, but they could be in the East. It could be anywhere.
Yeah, it could be any
point. Speaking of traveling, I told you they went up for that UC Irvine game?
Yes.
Did I tell you who they took with them?
You told me.
They took AJ Preller with them.
So I still want to get wrap my head around this. Kind of, breaking news here on the Fan. So your dad, your brother, and AJ Preller, all drove up to a game together.
I don't know if they went in the same car or not, but they went up and watched the UC Irvine UCSD game 2 or 3 weeks ago.
How does your dad and brother have better access to AJ Preller than you do?
My brother does, because he plays basketball with him. So.
But we talk about his baseball team.
I know. But they're friends. So
I thought we were friends. Are we not?
I don't know.
No, he doesn't text me back. He texts Sam.
Oh yeah.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, AJ.
How was Big Chief?
By the way,
I found out about that about 2 weeks later too. Hey, did we tell you we took AJ Preller up to the basketball game? No, you didn't tell me you took AJ Preller to the basketball game.
I feel like hey, don't horn in on our guys. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? It's so strange. So strange.
We're gonna take Adam next week.
Yeah. Just Adam's over at your parents' house for dinner. Like, that's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, they've apparently had a really good time. They're starting to get to be really good buds. Apparently.
All right, great, fantastic. We can't get anything from them, so it's great.
Funny. All right, before we get to Don't Do This, and we've got remember the story about the Chiefs fans who froze to death?
Yeah.
We have an update for you.
It's
on
not
that
good.
One. No, it's not. It's not good for you. First, I'm going to tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is my daily fantasy option. We were just talking hoops. You got the college basketball, the big event coming up this month, and Prize Picks is an extra way when you're watching so many games at once. Think about how many lineups. I mean, you can fill them out all day long. 2 to 6 players. You're just stat projecting. You're watching all these games anyway. Might as well add a little, excitement to the mix when you can win up to 1,000 times your cash by running your game all month long here in March with Prize Picks. It is very simple. All you have to do is download the app by going to prizepicks.com like I did. Use the code KWFN. Make sure you do, because when you do, you're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. hey, maybe that's the day that you use all 50 and set 10 different lineups to try to win some real cash with Prize Picks as you're watching basketball this month. So again, just use the code KWFN, get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Whether you're watching an SDSU game, UCSD game, you can find Prize Picks opportunities and lineup squares for all of those teams that you are watching right now on Prize Picks. So do like I did. Sign up today. Get started with Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for detail. DDT brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info.
Don't do
This.
I get it.
That's so good.
Adam's very clever.
So good.
Such a great idea.
It's a great idea.
We'll start with a story.
I love all his ideas.
An
actually.
update here on a story. It's actually more than a year old now. You might remember on a DDT way back in January of 2024, end of the NFL regular season last year, that a group of Chiefs fans went to a guy's house in Kansas City to watch the Chiefs-Chargers game on a very cold January day.
Yep.
Had the party, whatever, party wraps up.
Partied hard.
Guys are gone. I guess they must have left. And then 2 days later, 3 of the party goers were found dead, frozen in the backyard of the guy's house in Kansas City.
And wasn't the guy passed out like in the basement or something? Like they went hard at it. The guy that owned the home
clearly
passed out inside.
Clearly something was going on. Was it simply a case of they all just drank way too much, passed out, and froze to death? Well, it's finally being revealed what actually happened. And this week, 2 of the guys who were at the party that didn't die have been hit with criminal charges for alleged roles in what happened. Jordan Willis and Ivory Carson have been charged with involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of delivery of a controlled substance. Authorities say that they provided cocaine laced with fentanyl and that all 3 guys took it, passed out, and really died from the fentanyl, and their bodies then froze to death. But the cause of death is now being listed as a fentanyl overdose.
God bless,
not simply falling asleep and in sub-zero temperatures and dying from that. So they all face massive prison time if convicted of the felony charges. So sad and tragic ending. And of course, a reminder, don't do drugs.
Correct.
Or at least make sure they're
safe.
Really safe.
Safer.
I don't think you can really make sure they're all safe.
There's tests.
Yeah.
You can test things.
The safest is just to not do it in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Just abstain totally. But if you do, test it. That's not something you want in there. And I don't know when that trend started, but it's a weird one. It's a weird one for me. This is a much lighter story. Still very disgusting, though.
Disturbing.
Ugh. Saw this yesterday from Darren Ravel. A lot of people talking about this, and I can't wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around the picture, any of it. But Darren Ravel tweets, Miami baseball is playing Villanova today. Fans in the stands can get the Mark Light Shake, special made for the game. And it is a Philly cheesesteak milkshake with vanilla ice cream and vanilla syrup that's topped with a mini cheesesteak sandwich. And there's a picture of it taken from like a POV, right on top. And it's a vanilla milkshake, orange straw. And in it looks like a little slider with some cheese and some chopped up meat. And it's just sitting loosely in the cup on top of the milkshake. It's one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
Now, is the milkshake actually flavored like a cheesesteak, or is it just
vanilla.
a regular vanilla
milkshake with vanilla syrup
and it's just a cheesesteak slider on top?
Yeah, they took a vanilla milkshake and they took a little slider and they jammed it down in the hole.
All right, but you would have no problem eating a cheesesteak with a vanilla milkshake on the side, right?
None whatsoever.
But they're just putting it on top.
Yeah, they're mixing it in.
At least they're not. It's on top.
Not
it's
mixing it
top,
in, but
right.
but see how
the
bread gets soggy.
You pull it out. There's a little vanilla milkshake on the bread, and you eat that. It's not going to. I mean, sometimes it's a good combo of the savory with the ice cream, like dipping fries, like salty fries in vanilla shake is delicious.
That's good. I'll do that.
That's delicious.
This is still gross.
I don't think meat and cheese is necessarily the way I'd go, but I feel like you could certainly eat the cheesesteak.
You kind of pick it off the top.
Do that first, and then have the milkshake then on the side.
If they chopped it up and like mixed it in,
that would be disgusting.
Like chunks of cheesesteak.
absolutely repugnant in every way.
Yeah.
So if you do what Ben said, if you take the slider immediately, like you get it, you take it out, you eat it, you're like, oh, all right, that's pretty good.
And
fine.
Now you've got a milkshake.
Now you got a milkshake. What happens is if the bread gets soggy, and then the beef starts to trickle down,
sink down in,
and
beef
then
juices,
and you get a piece of hot beef stuck in your
Hot
throat.
beef.
Yeah, it's stuck in your throat. I don't like chunks in my milkshakes, man. I really don't. I like a nice, smooth milkshake. I like little peppermint flakes. That's about it.
I didn't
strawberry chunks. Or
I didn't admit it, but on the way home from spring training,
You got a date shake.
I did. I got a date shake, but it has little chunks of date in it.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll give you that. That's pretty good.
And I liked it. I thought it was
But it's
good.
not meat.
It's not meat.
It's not peas.
We knew
corn.
you were going to get a date.
We did
shake.
actually.
I
We
did.
called
Talked
it.
about it.
I did.
We called it. We
Oh,
okay. I don't want anything. I don't want savory chunks. I can do savory and sweet, but I don't want savory chunks.
Right.
So, like what you wouldn't do if you got a Frosty at Wendy's, you wouldn't then dice up the fries and mix them in.
no. I mean,
Right?
you wouldn't put a Baconator just right in the milkshake.
Start jamming it in there.
How about the son of Baconator?
Maybe smaller, so you could probably fit it at the top of the milkshake.
So stupid. What are we doing,
They don't have
America?
milkshakes, they have Frosties, I believe.
Oh, those are so good. So good.
Fries with a Frosty.
It's elite. It's elite.
But
Top
apparently not beef. with
Yeah.
a Frosty.
Yeah, no more
Hot beef.
no hot beef in my milkshake. Also, feel free to go Google Ben & Woods merch, and you can buy your very own
Hot beef.
T-shirt or hat. You can buy a hat that says
Hot
You
beef.
can buy a
Tote bag.
mug that says
Hot beef.
You can buy like a kid's onesie that says
Hot beef.
which would be very weird if you let your kid wear a hot beef
Might be cute.
Got,
onesie.
like Under Armour jackets, and Champion sweatshirts,
Do they really?
and brand names on the Ben & Woods merch
All
store.
right, I need to get a hot beef shirt.
Hot beef.
You're going to hear that drop next week when
Oh.
we get to our tournament of drops, which is
100%.
starting soon.
I cannot wait.
All right, finally a little do this.
How about this?
DD
Friend
mega
of the
doo-doo.
program.
I don't know if this is new news or we're just finding out about it. So
I think he did too.
I think he did too. I just texted him. Appreciate it. Not too shabby, he said. Go ahead.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
our good friend, will be inducted into the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame this season.
That's so
It's really cool.
freaking cool, dude. Orioles Hall of Famers. I'm Googling it right now.
Going to be some big
Brooks
names.
Robinson.
Cal Ripken Jr.
See what it's doing though. It's giving me all the Orioles that are in,
In the
the
Hall of
actual
Fame.
Hall of Fame. I want the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame. Now you assume that the ones that are in the Hall of Fame, the Brooks Robinsons of the world, they're in the
All
Baltimore.
right, here we go.
All right, you got it. I can't find it.
Let's see. There's a lot.
Yeah, this year it's Adam Jones, Tom Davis, who is a longtime broadcaster, and former outfielder Joe Orsolak.
Some names going more recently: Melvin Mora, Roberto Alomar, Mike Mussina, Harold Baines,
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Brady Anderson, Cal Ripken Jr.,
So rad, man.
Dennis Martinez.
I love that for him, dude.
Hank Bauer,
Eddie
is in
Murray.
the Orioles Hall of Fame. I don't think he's
It's a different
Hank
Hank
Bauer,
Bauer,
but
right.
yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I love
Cal Ripken
AJ.
Sr.
Then, of
Happy
course,
for
both
him.
Robinsons, Brooks and Frank, they were the original class in 1977.
So cool. So
Good for him.
very cool. Good for AJ. Don't know what our schedule is with him this year. We haven't cemented it
They
yet,
have.
but
They have a lot of Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like,
man,
there's
they've been around a long time.
Padres. What do we got? Like 7?
I think that's a good question. I know. I mean, there's retired numbers. There's 7. This is Hall of Famers. There's more, but I still think there's only around 20, maybe
Yeah.
20, 25 in the Padres Hall of Fame.
It's pretty awesome.
Definitely more in the Orioles, but then again, they've been around a
2,
lot
3, 4, 5,
longer than the San Diego
6,
Padres.
7, 8, 9, 10.
My 20 guess going to be about right.
17.
17
Pretty close,
Padres
Benny.
Hall of Famers.
Pretty close.
All right. And that is don't and do this for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben & Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
And you know
Jake
when it-
Peavy going to the Padres Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
Or is he
yeah.
not?
Yeah, I think he is. Didn't he?
Yeah, he did last
Yeah.
year, didn't
Yeah,
he?
this website
Number's not retired.
It's MLB.com.
They're a
Like,
little behind.
they're just a little behind. The most recent is Larry Lucchino.
And I
in
thought
2022.
Peavy went in with him, did he not? Or he went in
Teddy
with
did.
Teddy did. Okay. That's awesome, man. Good for him. Well, here, one thing I can tell you about the Padres Hall of Fame, it's going to grow exponentially over the next
That's a good point.
over the next 10, 15
Should.
years.
Absolutely should. As we mentioned, it is Thursday, which means it's Throwback Thursday, and Paulie's pulled a couple of great clips for us. Any little tease for us, Paulie?
Breaking Ben.
Oh, good.
Oh, again.
Always
another
good.
one. I feel like we play this one every week.
Well, we have like I don't know, 5 to 10 different
different
Breaking
ones.
Bens, but this one is
Different times of
one
the
of my
year.
all-time favorites.
One of the OGs.
And then what was the other clip?
Oh,
A prank on Ben.
Oh, I love this one too.
first though, Woodsy.
Want to what is it? Loan Pronto?
Yes,
Yeah. Wanted
Loan
to tell you
Pronto.
guys, if you're a homeowner right now, listen up. Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle the 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven technology gets you approved and funded in as little as a day. Told you about the one client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off the credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 a month. Low fixed rates, lightning fast transfers. You can do it too. Consolidate your debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt free. This time next week, call Loan Pronto now, 619-207-4336, or go to loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't forget, coming up at 9 o'clock, another name read in our biggest fan contest. Your chance to win a night in the Odyssey Suite to an upcoming Padres game for you. 20 people. You can register your name by going to 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan. Listen 3 times a day at 9, 1, and 5:30 for your opportunity to call us back within 10 minutes and qualify for the grand prize drawing, which I believe is coming up in a couple of weeks here before the start of the season. You look confused? What's going on?
I'm seeing like, what is happening? Somebody tweeted the Randy Vasquez experiment is over. He is signed with the team Aguilas Cebeñas in the Dominican. What? I'm looking right at it. For 1 hour. Look, 1 hour ago.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Why would that? How could
Padres have his contractual rights?
They have, yeah.
Did he play there in the Winter League or
maybe,
something?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think that means it's over. Yeah. Cal the Great says the Randy Vasquez experiment is over. He signed with the Dominican League team Aguilas. Is that just for?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
That doesn't make a lot of sense for my knowledge of how baseball works. The Padres aren't giving up on Randy Vasquez. He's had a rough couple of outings in spring training. He made 20 starts for him last year. They control his rights.
But what does that
Randy
mean?
Vasquez is a pitcher who would have value on the market right now. You wouldn't just let him go to the Dominican.
Somebody text me and let me know.
That's not true. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that does not make logical sense to me.
I mean, it's his face in the team's
I'm
tweet.
looking at it, I was like, that's him.
Is this something that if you want to play Dominican Winter League, you have to sign now? Is that?
I don't know. He's not a free agent.
No,
Padres have not released him.
He didn't quit MLB to go pitch in the Dominican League. I'm pretty sure.
They don't even have a Dominican League in the summer. It's the Winter League. Why would you be signing with a Winter League team right now?
I think
the season just ended.
Maybe you just sign now, and that's the team that has your rights for next
off season. That's possible.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I wouldn't say the Randy Vasquez experiment is over.
Right?
No, it's weird.
No, he is. His stock at this moment maybe trending slightly down.
Yeah,
but that's a couple of spring training starts.
Yeah, dude. You don't read too much into that.
No. Now this you can read a little bit into. We talked about the moves that the Padres announced this morning. Really housekeeping moves, sending some of the non-roster young guys from major league camp into minor league camp. It literally means they go across the hallway to a room where they already have lockers, by the way, in the minor league camp. That's where they are based out of in Peoria, Arizona. And just this is something that happens at this point in spring training. However, Matt Friars points out that it is worth noting, and I think this is significant, Bradley Rodriguez was the only Padres top prospect non-roster invite to not get sent out to minor league camp this morning.
Interesting.
He has set down all 9 batters he's faced this spring with 3 strikeouts. Now, that is something you can read a little bit into.
Sure.
Does it mean Bradley Rodriguez is on the team? No. But I think it does clearly mean that they want to get a closer look at Bradley Rodriguez, and they would consider perhaps a bullpen role for him, especially if, Brian Hoeing doesn't look like he's going to be ready in time. If he had another injury at some point, he has played his way into the conversation to perhaps make the Padres opening day roster or early in the season with a very impressive spring performance. So I think you can read a little bit into that.
So I'm looking right now. I think he just signed with them for the winter. That's who he's going to play winter ball for. So you get that knocked out now. You don't have to worry about it.
And that is highly dependent usually on how his season goes.
Mm-hmm.
if Randy Vasquez ends up as the Padres starter and throws 180 innings, which I'm not expecting, but if he does, Padres will probably say, no, you're not pitching winter ball this year. Now, if Randy Vasquez kind of goes up and down from
Who is Randy Vasquez?
Randy Vasquez goes up and down from AAA and is in the bullpen and only has 65 innings, they might say, go work as a starter for a few outings in winter ball. We would approve of you doing that. And now he's got a team to do so. But that's not something to read anything in.
Sounds like a trade with another Dominican club, so it just has to be for Winter League. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. All
right.
Well, congratulations to Randy Vasquez.
Sifted out that mystery fairly quickly, I believe.
Yeah, when I saw the Randy Vasquez experiment is over, I was like, what are you talking about? Like,
it was never an experiment.
It wasn't an experiment.
He is a pitcher. Padres used him a lot last year.
They think pretty highly of him.
Probably still in their plans for this year.
Yeah.
Nothing experimental about Randy Vasquez.
Yeah, it's not a shortstop they moved into starting,
this isn't Sean Reynolds being converted, Jake Cronenworth trying to play both pitcher and infield at the same time. This is just regular old baseball. All right, let's check traffic, and then Paulie's got a couple of Throwback Thursday clips. We could all use a laugh probably 100%. This week. It's been a tough week. We will get to that coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Springs. Slick conditions thanks to some scattered showers around the county, guys. You know what to do. Leave a little extra time for travel. Please take it extra carefully and have the headlights on so you're more visible to other drivers, right? Stop outside of the 163 before Park Boulevard. Accident involving several vehicles blocking the right lane. They finally cleared that crash from the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island near the old toll plaza. South 5 Coastline near the 76, there is a collision. Looks like a car and semi involved in this one. It's over the right shoulder. Watch out for some debris reported in the right lanes. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I've done something I thought impossible. I have made Tier 1 Jordan in North Carolina mad at me.
How is that possible?
Well, I told everybody you got to cheer against the Tar Heels right now because they're on the bubble with the Aztecs. I just got the red-faced, angry emojis.
He will kill you. That guy loves.
So I'm sorry, Aztecs over Heels right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I don't expect him to cheer for the Aztecs. He's got to root against the Aztecs at this point.
That's right.
Because they are fighting for limited at-large space in the NCAA tournament. But all will be good in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Hopefully both teams get in for Jordan and my sake. But, hey, if only one can get in, I know which one I'd rather see in.
Have you made your donation to the Mesa Foundation?
I might have, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I might have.
He might have. So I guess that leaves a little bit.
We like to keep financial disclosures.
Oh, is that right?
Private on this show. So it may have been a very large and generous donation. You know how they hear? Those anonymous donors. The guy who's matching the $500,000. Anonymously could be me.
Could be.
They didn't say it wasn't.
Like I'm out tomorrow. You guys could.
I don't want.
You could have Luka Doncic on the show.
I don't want the credit and attention that goes with a large donation.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I will. If I do make a donation, it'll be very anonymously.
Okay. You don't want to put your name on it. You hate putting your name on stuff.
Like, who's this guy that donated $4?
Yeah,
$4. Anytime you see an anonymous donation anywhere,
it's you.
It's probably me.
Well, Ben's like, that $4 turned into $8.
Yeah, that $4 turns into $8. That's exactly right, man. Well, okay, so you might have.
Right. I need to save my money though, to eventually sue the two of you for putting me through emotional strain and grief on this program. We
cheapness is a sickness, by the way.
Save Breaking Ben for our second clip, Paul. Let's go to the other one first. You're funny because I guess this is why it's a Throwback Thursday today, because we saw earlier this week when we were going through the day, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, was National Pound Cake Day.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Is that what inspired this? Because
I don't know that we were paying too much attention 3 years ago to the days of national days or whatever, but I do remember Woodsy and I were on a golf course where a lot of these pranks at least start as ideas, and we were talking about it. Like, it's been too long we had the biggest fan one from a few years earlier than this.
Dixie Normus.
Yeah. And we said, we got to get him again. How do we do it? So we literally just we have a rundown that I print out every morning for everybody.
Yep.
There are liners to be read. And Ben just looked at his rundown.
But not always proofread. Just read.
Just read.
He's Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
And he read a liner, and we went to break, and we never talked about it until the next segment. And this is how it sounded.
Burn, did you notice anything different about this this liner that you
go back?
It was a new one. I will admit that.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of this business before.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounded good. I will say
that.
This hour of Better Woods brought to you by Pound Town. Head on over to Pound Town in Mission Valley today for San Diego's premier pound cakes, chocolate, lemon, strawberry, key lime, you name it, they've got it. Head on over to Pound Town today, 420 Camino de la Reina. Get yours today. There's traffic right now on 97 Street, man. Businesses all think they're so clever nowadays.
That's true.
There probably is a pound cake store called Pound Town somewhere. I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna say that one felt kind of real to me.
That was the goal. I like how he says Pound Town. A
little breezy, maybe. Yeah.
Pound Town. I would go to Pound Town to get pound cake. Like
Pound Town, an entire bunt cake yesterday.
Number one, it's not. I didn't finish it. I did not finish it. I have half of.
You ate half of it here, so
me and
there can't be that much
did,
left.
And then Adam had a piece. Okay. You had some.
I had a very
tiny
sliver.
piece. And then I think you're picturing me driving home with it open next to me, eating it like Vito from The Sopranos eating those wings as he's driving. Just handfuls of pecans all over my chest.
You said you kind of mashed it up and rolled it together.
Oh, there he is.
No, it was ribs. It wasn't wings. It was ribs. He was driving away and he was sucking down ribs.
I haven't had a good Sara Lee pound cake in a long time.
Yeah.
My mom used to buy those when I was a kid.
What you're saying is you have not been to Pound Town in a while.
That's true.
In a while. Fair enough.
All right. And then, we have a Breaking Ben clip from this week. This was, 2 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago also.
And this was during the Reindl Report. I think I was telling you guys about a story about a band. They were involved in some litigation. Yeah. One band puts out a song 10 years ago. Another band kind of samples it. And the first band goes, hey, that's our beat. That's our song. So we were talking about it. And the band in question was Article Sound System.
Correct.
And this is Live Your Life from Article Sound System, released 5 years ago.
Otherwise known as ass. Got him.
Got him. Why that got him so much? The headphones fell off.
Damn near fell out of his chair.
This one got him good.
The headphones went flying. He almost fell.
Yeah. Was this the drooling one?
No,
that was
the
a throwing
cake.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Done, dude. This may be number one.
My stomach hurts.
This may be number one.
It's my favorite.
So
take a bow with
He's
you.
done. He is absolutely done.
I want to listen.
You listen to ass.
Go ahead.
God, it's so good.
The laugh where you're like coughing.
Yeah.
You could have gotten me yesterday, and you didn't see it. One of the tier ones yesterday pointed out something that really could have broken me if anybody had thought of it. But we did in the 9 o'clock hour, our kink quiz that we had to take.
All of us BDSM
took, all of us took it.
We did take it, and found out that you're what is known as a rope bunny. Paulie as well.
So is Paulie.
And a couple of rope bunnies in here. I feel dirty. But later in the program, you referenced James Bond. And it didn't even click with me. And one of our tier ones wrote me last night. He goes, he's not James Bond. He's James Bondage. And I was done for. I mean, done for. Bondage.
If you had come up with
James
that
Bondage.
on the fly as I was doing it, you would have broken me.
It was
I would have hit the
so-
floor.
It was so good. Yeah.
Very clever.
Very clever.
Take a bow with
He's
you.
done. I love it. I love it. Well done, sir. Well done, rope bunny.
All right. Okay.
Got
A
it.
couple minutes here before the top of the hour. Had a little football news last night. Not that it matters anymore, but did you see the LA Chargers parted ways with Joey Bosa after 9 years, which was somewhat relevant in that he was the last San Diego Charger that was still with the Los Angeles Chargers. He played his rookie year here in San Diego, won Defensive Rookie of the Year honors.
5-time Pro Bowler.
He was 5-time Pro Bowler. They're going to save, I think, $25 million on the cap. He obviously has, been limited in his availability because of injuries the last couple of years, and they have other needs to fill, so they're going to move in a different direction. Was pointed out to me on Twitter yesterday that Denzel Perriman played here. He left in 2020, came back last year, so he does have a bit of a connection to the San Diego Chargers, but it's hard to believe. He's played 9 years. It's been that long.
It's been that
now.
long, man.
Yeah, that's 8 years in LA.
I remember that draft.
And one in San Diego.
Well, that's enough Charger talk for the day. We got a Padres lineup out, Ben.
do we?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've got Eggy leading off playing short.
This game is in surprise today.
It is playing against the Texas Rangers.
Look at that, Eggy being showcased right off the bat,
He
leading
played
off.
third. He played
Playing
left.
different
He's playing
positions.
short.
Hey, do you need a shortstop? You need a third baseman? You need a left fielder?
Yep.
There is definitely something to the possible showcasing.
The Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Eggy Rosario.
We got Jackson Merrill in center, Manny Machado at third, Oscar Gonzalez in right, Gavin Sheets DH, Martin Maldonado behind the dish, Tirso in left, Brooks at first, Dungan at second.
Brooks and Dungan?
Brooks and Dungan. Old Shilty doing bits. Hey, watch this. Hey, watch this.
In the 8-9 hole,
gonna
we
put-
got Brooks and
I'm
Dungan.
putting Brooks and Dungan together.
Hey, you like a bloody beer, Jerry?
And the greats, Dylan Thief on the mound for the San Diego Padres today. Brooks and Dungan. Holy cow, that's so good.
Getting all the aces this week. King yesterday, Cease today. Darvish is scheduled to pitch tomorrow.
Yeah.
So getting to see, and Pivetta pitched on really well on Tuesday. So
God, that's good.
getting to see everybody this week with the San Diego Padres at the top of their rotation.
Brooks and Dungan.
Do you think Mike Schilt noticed that at all when he was making out the lineup today?
1,000%.
kidding me?
He's in his office listening to Neon Moon, and he's like, "Hey, what's this?"
Could have had it Dungan 8th and Brooks 9th, but he goes, no, well,
Brooks and Dungan.
we're gonna go Brooks and Dungan.
It's absolutely brilliant from my skipper. All right, let's win a ball game today, guys. How about that?
All right, we'll come back. 8 o'clock hour includes a visit from spring training Sammy. I'll have more Padres talk, a little real or fake, chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas as well. All ahead with Ben and Woods on a Thursday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
right, halfway home, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Thursday to you. It's my Friday today, gentlemen. I'll miss you terribly tomorrow. So much. I miss you so much.
You don't have to lie to us.
Any big plans for when your old pal Woodsy is out?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah? What do you got? Yes. What do you got cooking? Got any guests?
Really good show.
Got any guest hosts coming in? I like to do the guest host bit.
I'm coming down with a cold.
Paulie's got the cold.
Probably shouldn't be here.
Ben and Italian Paul tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe Ben and Adam.
4 hours of Formula One talk. With Italian Paul.
Ben and Italian Paul, Bip, or Ben and Adam, you could do Badam, which would be great. He's also known as Bald Reindl, even though he is growing his hair back. It's weird. I can't call him Bald Reindl anymore.
You think he did that because you called him Bald Reindl?
Potentially.
Like, you know what?
Bullied him enough into growing his hair back. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Yeah, I mean, we're undertaking it's a big endeavor, a big undertaking for our family. We are loading up the Ben bus and driving to Las Vegas. And
what blows my mind, not that you're taking a family trip. I'm glad that you're getting away for a couple of days and being with your family, or even that you're going to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the destination you think of with a 7 and a 4-year-old. But,
sure.
You'd be surprised now.
But I understand. I
Yeah.
totally understand. We took our kids a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's just like something different. You know what?
It's
cool.
just
something different.
There's enough for them to do and see.
100%.
And
What I really have trouble wrapping my head around is that you are taking them to 2 concerts.
It's ambitious.
That to me is.
do we have an over-under on the chances that Woodsy makes it to concert number 2?
Oh, I'll make it concert number 2.
The family, I should
so
say.
The two shows are
the Eagles
at the Sphere.
Yep,
that's tomorrow night.
Yep, that's tomorrow night.
And then Deftones
at MGM,
which is Saturday.
Yeah, which is where we're staying.
Vegas concerts tend to start fairly late, don't they?
So I've looked at Deftones will take the stage at about 9. But we're doing
you all go to bed at 7.
Yeah, but it's Vegas. City never sleeps.
The city never sleeps, but
we do. But we do. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
I mean, it's fine if they're with you and they're, falling asleep on your lap.
Yeah,
which is fine. But I assume you had to buy them tickets, or are they lap seats?
Of course, I had to buy them.
That's what I'm thinking.
I had to buy tickets for a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old to the Sphere for the Eagles.
Right.
Any guesses on how much those were?
So wouldn't it have been more?
Hang on.
Economical? Are we
4 of you?
Yeah.
Do they have kids seating?
No,
or it's just 4 tickets.
4 tickets.
Over, under,
lower level. I don't even remember.
300 each.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say over under 2,000.
All right, so 600 just for that.
No, like 300 Pete's.
600 total
for the 2 kids.
Oh, for the 2 kids, right? So instead of that, you could have spent $600 and probably gotten a room for 2 nights.
Yeah.
And a babysitter to stay in that room, who then could have watched your kids when you went to both of the concerts.
It's true, but my kids like music. They're
300 a ticket. That's a lot, but it's not as much as I would have thought for the Eagles at the Sphere.
If they're awake, they like music.
They're like, but the Sphere, they're so excited about it. I showed them a little video, and they're just all about it. They
probably will actually enjoy it.
The Saturday night one's going to be a little tougher, but I do think Bo and I will be there till the end. Bo and I will be at the Deftones show till they walk off the stage. I'm pretty sure he has said that he wants to do that.
It's 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That should be okay, right?
Yeah, we should be fine. It's not
like an 11 p.m. concert.
At the Sphere, they don't have a lot of opening acts for 2 hours before the main guys come on.
No, there's when I saw U2, it was a DJ. He played 7 songs, and then U2 came.
Because in Vegas, they want to get you back out to the casinos. They do not want you spending an inordinate amount of time in the concert hall waiting for your act to start.
I mean, seeing a show at the Sphere is just it's incredible. My wife's favorite band is the Eagles, so I got this for her. And I like the Eagles too, and I saw the setup and what they're doing. I didn't want to watch a lot of it. I just watched a little taste, and I went, oh my Lord, they are bringing this thing. So that's going to be fun. It's ambitious, I'll give you that. Then we're going to do based on Paulie's wife's recommendation on Saturday. We're taking them to Kiss mini golf. They have a whole mini golf thing, all Kiss, and they love Kiss. And so it's very musical weekend. But that's about right for us. And then, yeah, we're doing a meet and greet with Deftones and get our picture taken. And then we're going to go to the show. And I'm pretty sure Hannah moved our hotel to the MGM because they were playing there and that she and Taylor could bail early, or at least she could bail early. I have a feeling it's going to be me and the two boys, raging and having a great time.
You can take the tram right up to the Sphere.
Oh, can you?
You can take it right up to like the Venetian there and walk over.
From MGM?
Yeah.
From the MGM,
Same
yeah.
side.
On that side, yeah.
It's a big hotel.
What else is there to do for little kids? Like, we're going to get in early. We'll get in.
You got to walk over.
We'll be in tomorrow by 9 or 10.
You said you guys were originally going to stay at New York.
Yeah.
You got to walk over there.
Okay.
It's right across the street from MGM Grand.
Okay.
They'll have some fun walking around there. They got like the arcade up top up there. And
Somebody said take the kids to Meow Wolf. I don't know what that is, but I will take a look.
I did Meow Wolf with our kids.
What is it?
It's like an art installation. It's like an immersive art experience.
Oh, I think I saw this.
It's hard to describe. Like, in part of it, you go into like it's like a grocery store but all the products are like art, but from this like avant-garde artist.
Okay.
And then you find the secret door in the back, and you are in these back like maze rooms that are all also kind of like art installation. It's very hard to describe. You just have to kind of
Meow Wolf. All right, I'll write that down.
See it, but it is interesting, and it's family friendly.
So you
go to the big M&M thing. Is that
the M&M store?
M&M store.
So I had the kids and was getting them bathed last night, and I said to Bo, I go, so what are you most excited about playing in Vegas? And he looked at me, he goes, probably slots. And I go, that you don't get to gamble, right? And he looked at me like, what? I go, no, dude, you have to be 21 and over to do this. Like, you can't just go
a little blackjack.
Yeah.
Crap.
He's just smoking a cigarette, playing baccarat, like rolling dice. Come on, boom. But no, he goes, well, what's there to do then? I'm like, relax. We'll find something to do. So it's going to be great. I realize this will be the first time I've ever set foot in Vegas for 48 hours, and will be stone cold sober the entire time. Never once.
Will there even be any gambling?
I don't know that I can.
Not.
I don't know that they won't let the kids on the floor. I can't.
You'd have to separate from Hannah. And
Taylor on my knee.
Take your turns going down, possibly. But you may not.
Something tells me she'll get some in on the slots, and I'll be watching the kids, which is fine.
What about dining? Do you have any dining plans? Are you gonna do a buffet, or are you gonna do?
So I think our kids, like most kids, they don't really like to eat. They don't really care about food. True. They just want to play. And
you hate spending $40 on a buffet, and then they don't eat blueberries.
Yeah, they don't eat.
That's not cost efficient.
Oh, they got a pinball hall of fame. They got a mob museum.
I've been to the pinball hall of fame as well.
Oh, God.
We did a couple of times. We went to Vegas. You got to find the things that are more family friendly while you're there.
I have a feeling that it was you and your buddies that went to the pinball museum when you were there.
Possibly.
That's my guess. But I'm excited.
Papa Gorgia.
I'm dreading the drive a little bit, but we're going to try to leave at like 4 a.m. and go and
get you in about what 10:30.
Yeah, I mean, we'll stop. Yeah. We'll stop and have breakfast or something. But I'm really in no rush tomorrow. Sunday is going to be the real bitch. Is getting out of there early after
breakfast
a concert.
With Russ in Victorville.
Maybe stop at Victorville. Our pal Russ. And
daylight savings time on Sunday, so even earlier.
Really didn't think this one through. I really didn't think it through. Also, we I just told you guys yesterday in the opening segment, I was so excited about Little League. Started last night.
How'd you do?
Woodsy's Woodpeckers. We got rained out at about 1. They banged the game, and then I was so disappointed. Guess what? They rescheduled it for Sunday, Ben, at 8:30 in the morning. So I'll miss now 2 games. So I'm not very happy.
Julian says the best pizza in Vegas is Grimaldi's at the Encore. When we had Grimaldi's in Arizona, it was good.
So good.
Paulie and I, we've done secret pizza at the Cosmo, which is really good.
Fantastic.
But my new favorite is Mulberry Street at Resorts World, Las Vegas.
Okay.
Which is one from Beverly Hills. Yeah, I thought that was excellent. Really good pizza. So.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. It's, anytime you load that big van up and go, it's interesting. The farthest we've gone is Joshua Tree. This will be a new record for us. We want to see how the kids do. My guess is they're going to probably do better than I will, but I'm excited about it. I'll miss you guys, though.
We will miss you as well.
Yeah, fun without me.
I will try to carry on the best traditions of Ben and Woods.
Okay.
Not turn it too much into a 4-hour
basketball show.
Show.
Lakers talk.
Will there be no? I can't promise no basketball talk because there's some basketball talk in every show.
Well, congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are the first team to clinch a playoff spot.
I didn't even know that.
No one had that on their bingo card.
Their bingo
I guess
board?
Ben is gonna go crazy and talk a little basketball. I guess March is
That's a good time
an
to do it.
acceptable time. But
Yeah. Just stick to Padres and having fun. And maybe some of your kinks and stuff, you could explore those without me, but just have fun.
I mean, there is a big Knicks-Lakers game tonight at 7:00.
All right.
Pretty interesting matchup. Okay. We could talk about that tomorrow.
All right. I'm sure the
Multiple
audience is
segments.
Rapt attention.
Get Michael Thompson on, little Lakers analysis at some point. Maybe not.
Seems like a lot of museums and cool stuff there people are recommending. What's it called? Cat's Meow?
No, Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf. All right.
It's not too far from the Strip, just on the other side.
You got to remember, too, you have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. They get pretty bitchy when they have to walk a lot, as does their dad.
You're going to have to let them know if anybody hands them baseball cards on the street corners, those aren't baseball cards.
Taylor will be all about them. That I promise you. Because every time a pretty girl is on the screen, he's like, you see it in his eyes. Like, oh, you're one of those. Okay, I get it. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'll try to find some new ones for Ben.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods? Or no, sorry, Real or Fake? It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Throwback Thursday. No musical knowledge necessary. It is your chance to qualify. Guess what? For a trip to Las Vegas. What fortunate timing that we were just talking about Las Vegas. This one includes concert tickets as well. Alanis Morissette and a $100 gas card. Just need a contestant at 833-288-0973. We'll play our trivia game coming up in our next segment of Ben and Woods.
Well, wanted to tell you guys, I will be walking around Vegas, and I can do that now. I have no pain in my joints. I'm going to go to the gym today. I can lift weights, no pain in my wrists. It's all thanks to QC Kinetics. If you're wondering whether you're a good candidate or not, if you answer yes to any of these questions, chances are, yeah, you're a great candidate. Is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or other joints? You have trouble sleeping, walking, just day-to-day movement? Do you want to avoid surgery and all the pain, long recovery, and the uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, are you missing out on things that you love to do? Walking, golfing, jogging, lifting weights, whatever it is. If you answered yes to any of those, I bet you're a great candidate, so please don't wait. Call them today, 619-614-PAIN, 619-614-PAIN. Locations in Torrey Hills and Hillcrest for your free consultation, my friends. It's QC Kinetics, 619-614-PAIN. That's a decent recommendation. Pointer Dave tweets in, do they like rabbits? There's a bunny ranch. Take them to see some bunnies. Cotton-tailed, yeah.
Hares, and all different kinds of rabbits.
Very cool.
Wascally wabbits.
Yeah.
Just got some new sound in from Sam Levitt. Got a chance to meet and talk to Jose Iglesias this morning.
Oh, nice.
Sammy,
so he's there and ready to rock.
Updated spring training. Sammy's going to join us from Peoria in just a couple of minutes at the bottom of the hour. But yeah, looks like he has arrived in Padres camp. Currently a minor league invite with non-roster invitation to spring training. But as was reported yesterday, if he makes the team, it's a $3 million big league deal with $1 million in incentives. And I'd be very surprised if he doesn't make the team. Wouldn't you? I mean, you don't bring in Jose Iglesias at this point to not make the team, even though they're somewhat overloaded in terms of like utility infield type players right now at camp. There's not enough spots to go around, and this is just going to make the competition even a little more
robust.
Yeah, robust. That's a good word for it.
Well, you're going to miss me tomorrow.
Come up with the words that I can't think of in the morning.
Right.
Fine. I will miss you tomorrow.
I'll miss you too, buddy.
But we don't need you necessarily. You can help in this game, but you're not the focus.
I'm not
like
the star
rest
of the show.
Week.
It's fine.
It is time for a Throwback Thursday edition of Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
All right, we got Brandon standing by, and if he can get 4 of the 7 correct in Real or Fake, he will qualify for our grand prize drawing in the month of March. 2 tickets to Alanis Morissette at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, and a $100 gas card. You can go to Ticketmaster.com to get your own tickets. I mean, you can go show them Caesars Palace. You can show them the fountains at Bellagio when you're on your trip.
Thunder from Down Under.
I've not seen that show. All right, Brandon, you there?
I'm here. How are you guys doing today?
Good, buddy.
Good, mates. Is that the Thunder from Down Under? All right, very simple game. All you have to do is separate the real from the fake, Brandon. Today's category is Ben & Jerry's announced Free Cone Day is returning next month on April 8th. Did you know that on Ben & Jerry's Free Cone Day, if you go to a Ben & Jerry's store, you can go back as many times as you want?
What?
Get in line again.
Get back
another
in line?
free cone. Get back in line. Get another free cone. April 8th. Now, I think there's only one Ben & Jerry's store left in San Diego.
Oh.
It's at Seaport Village.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's going to limit the access. But it is coming up April 8th. Okay. So I thought for today's Real or Fake.
I'm seeing 2 downtown.
Is there 2 of them?
One on Market and Harbor Drive.
Seaport Village there. All right. I'm going to name, Brandon, an ice cream flavor. You tell me if it's a real flavor produced by Ben & Jerry's or a fake that I have come up with. Well, actually, that ChatGPT has come up with for today's game. Thought I'd try something different today.
It's great.
All right. You can use Woods to help you, Brandon. Are you ready to play?
Sounds simple enough. Let's do it.
All right. Let's go round number 1. Churray for churros. Real or fake Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor, Brandon? Churray for churros.
That's, I worked at a 7-Eleven for years. We had Ben & Jerry's. I know there's obviously more than just the pint of ice cream that we had.
Correct.
So for this early round, I'm just going to go with fake off the top of my head.
Should ask Woods. He seemed like he knew this one.
Real. I haven't tried it yet, but I want to.
That's all right. We got plenty of time left. All right, let's go to round number 2. Maple bacon mashup. Real or fake, Brandon? Maple bacon mashup.
What do you think?
That sounds so I'm going to say fake. I think fake.
A sweet and savory blend of creamy maple ice cream with chunks of caramelized bacon swirled with a buttery toffee ribbon. Says ChatGPT. It is fake.
Yes.
Correct.
Good.
All right, that is 1 point for Brandon.
Did Brandon even make a pick there?
He did.
He said
it
fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah.
ChatGPT comes up with some good ice cream. All right, let's go to round number 3. Citrus Daydream. Citrus Daydream. Real or fake, Brandon?
What do you think, Wood?
I think fake.
He thinks fake.
I'll go fake.
Gonna go fake? Fake. Chat GPT says it's a zesty, refreshing mix of tangy lemon and orange sherbet with a swirl of vanilla bean and a hint of ginger.
I would eat that too.
I would too.
Why do they
That
call it
sounds delicious.
sherbet and not sherbet?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Sherbet.
I hate that you said sherbet, even though that's
How you
it's
say it.
spelled and how it's supposed to be said. It's sherbet.
It's sherbet, right? Orange sherbet.
Justin Sherbert. Sorry. All right. Go to round number 4. You're 2 away from winning here, Brandon. Give me some more. Give me some more. Real or fake, Brandon?
I think that's real.
I'm with you, buddy.
And you are correct. All right, we are 1 correct answer away from qualifying for the grand prize drawing. Let's go round number 5. Marshmallow Sky. Marshmallow Sky. Real or fake, Brandon?
I also think that's real.
Oh, okay. Let's roll with it.
Well,
real.
The 7-Eleven experience has paid off for you. Because you have just won today's game of real or fake. Congratulations, Brandon. Stay on the line. Paulie's going to get your information. You are in to the drawing for Las Vegas and Alanis Morissette at the end of the month.
Lay it out. What else you got?
Impressively fudged. Impressively fudged.
Fake.
It's real. Pretzel chocolate mix. Midnight mocha crunch.
Real.
That's fake. Chat GPT calls that one a decadent chocolate ice cream blended with espresso coffee, crunchy chocolate-covered coffee beans, and a rich caramel swirl.
I couldn't have worked at 7-Eleven. I would have been getting high off my own supply back there in the cooler.
All right.
Big
now,
gulps and taquitos.
100%.
Ben and Jerry's.
Is Brandon still there? Can you bring Brandon on the line?
Yeah.
Brandon, you still
Yeah,
there?
I'm here.
When you work at 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
Can you have all the Slurpees you want, or do they watch you on the video cameras?
Do you get like 10% off or
Yeah,
what?
what's the deal?
You'd be surprised how much you grow to not like Slurpees once you're working there.
That's so true,
The
dude.
sticky mix that you got to put in the machine to keep it going. It's like you never want to see another Slurpee in your life.
It's so true.
Yeah, 7-Eleven day was a miserable experience.
When they had the free ones.
God, that's right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Ben and Jerry's free cone day is also a miserable experience for Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah,
employees.
they just got it's World Series today. Like it's a Super Bowl.
Hopefully you tip your scooper on that day at the very least.
100%.
Okay, Brandon, back on hold. Paulie will get your information. We will take a little time out. When we come back, Sammy Levitt with his update on Jose Iglesias and more from Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. Hoping the Jose Iglesias signing brings some good vibrations to Peoria, Arizona. Seems like he's a good energy. I mean, the video I was watching yesterday of him performing his OMG at Citi Field in June last year, and then all of his teammates on the field like bopping around. I laughed at all the Mets, the grimace and the OMG last year, going, my goodness, you do more bits than we do here in San Diego. That's incredible.
Hawk Tua.
But honestly, it worked for him last year, and it seemed pretty genuine when I was watching that video. Like they were really happy and enjoyed Jose Iglesias.
I either forgot or didn't know. Like he's like on a song with Pitbull. Like
it's insane.
It was like number one on
he's a Latin
one of the charts.
music
like,
artist.
He and Manny are very tight.
Are they?
Yeah, they're very tight as well. They had the video of them yesterday, like hugging at third base, like hugging, like how I hug, big bear hug. So, yeah, I'm sure Manny's stoked about that too. But yeah, we'll see how it shakes out, and if there's any further moves or just an extra bench piece, Benny, or a depth piece for this team, and helps lengthen the lineup certainly.
Well, our Sam Levitt, spring training Sammy, is live with us from Peoria, Arizona, where he had a chance to speak with Jose Iglesias just a few minutes ago in Padres clubhouse. Sammy, good morning. Welcome to Ben and Woods again.
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Sammy.
All right, what did we learn from Jose Iglesias in your conversations?
Yeah, Jose inside the clubhouse earlier this morning, and was already giving out hugs to some of his teammates. I saw him and Jason Hayward exchange a big hug inside the clubhouse, and then he spoke with myself and a couple of the reporters here in Peoria, and a couple of items of note. He was asked about, obviously not returning to the Mets after what was such a great year for him in 2024. You mentioned all the OMG stuff. And look, I do think that was certainly a part of it. I mean, he was beloved and just a huge part of that sort of magical run the Mets went on last year with the OMG and the grimace and all of it, all the different totems, if you will, the Mets had last year. And he said he was surprised that he didn't end up back with the Mets. And I thought and you can watch the videos. Look, I do think there was just watching him and what he said, a level of surprise and disappointment that he couldn't find his way back to New York. But at the same time, he seemed very appreciative of the opportunity with the Padres. I asked him point blank, if the Padres have communicated to him what his role will be, assuming he's on the major league roster, and he didn't say much. Said he's essentially here to play and be a good teammate and push guys, and I certainly believe that. Beyond that, beyond the Mets part, beyond his role, was asked if last year was a career year for him, and he said it was a very special year, and essentially alluded to that as it was a career season for him. It was interesting because I think it's important to remember with Jose Iglesias that he was with the Padres in El Paso in 2023 and actually opted out of his deal a couple of times in 2023 and never got the opportunity to actually be in the major leagues with the Padres. And I thought he said maybe the most interesting thing during that answer when he was asked about why he opted out of that deal ultimately. And he said, I'm not a minor league player at this point in my career. And you know what? You look at what he did with the Mets last year. I agree with him. I do. Doesn't appear to be a minor league player to me, which again, it makes it pretty fascinating that he is here on a minor league deal. All the things that I'm sure you discussed yesterday and earlier today about Iglesias and what it might mean and what it might mean for other parts of the roster. But I thought that was an interesting answer. And all in all, seemed like a pretty energetic guy and ready to go and appreciative to be here, even if, maybe there's a little surprise that he didn't end up back with the Mets.
Well, one of the things, Sammy, going into the offseason with budgetary constraints and ownership issues and things like that A.J. Preller needed to make sure that he did was replicate kind of the lightning in the bottle that he caught with a few players last year. Now, he absolutely could have brought back David Peralta, Donovan Solano, just run it back. But for whatever reason, that didn't happen. So he's adding, some of these pieces. And I think, for me, it's a numbers game. You add a Hayward, a Connor Joe, and you add, all the Gavin Sheets, all these guys. And then you pick up this guy. And it's like, all right, one of these guys hits, we catch lightning in a bottle with one of these guys. Mission accomplished, didn't cost us a ton of money.
Yeah, look, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we talked about it a lot over the course of the last couple of months about the Padres and AJ needing to hit on those players again, right? Needing to find the Peraltas and the Solanos of 2025. And I'll tell you this about Jose Iglesias as I continued to digest this yesterday. Number one, it would seem to me, and I think Ben said this early on, very quickly after the news came out yesterday, it would seem to me if he's agreeing to come to the Padres and based on what he did last year, I would be quite frankly shocked if he's not on this opening day roster and making this team. I really would be. I mean, this guy put up 3+ WAR last year and is a great defender and hit well above 300 and nearly 300 at bats. Like, if you really want to look at it, I mean, he's coming off a far, far better season than a Solano and a Peralta were. So, look, I think he's earned that opportunity in all likelihood to be on the major league roster, and we'll see what he is. I mean, he has a chance to be not only a very productive player, but I think a very regular player with this team based on what he did a year ago. And could, at worst be the Donovan Solano type player of 2025 as far as coming off the bench and being able to play some different infield positions. It's not an apples to apples comparison as far as a player. Solano's got more power than Iglesias, but Iglesias definitely plays better defense than Solano. Woodsy, look, it is certainly a move where you look at it, I think, from the AJ Preller perspective and you say, okay, this is definitely in line with what he did last year and what he hit on. And it would be very, very nice if it's that kind of hit once again. We're going to find out.
Sammy, we heard earlier the Padres making some roster moves. It's moves on paper, guys over from major league camp to minor league camp like Ethan Salas and Leodalis DeVries. But it was interesting that one guy who is a non-roster invitation minor league prospect who didn't get moved is Bradley Rodriguez. Now, we've only seen him 3 times. I think he's gotten every batter out in Cactus League games. And any more buzz on Bradley Rodriguez? Do you think we're going to see maybe more of him and he's getting a legitimate opportunity to make this team?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I mean, he's obviously been very, very impressive. I had a chance to talk to him in the clubhouse, I want to say about a week ago. Impressive young man, clearly has a very good head on his shoulders, clearly appreciates the opportunity he has this spring training. He's still very, very young, but last year just generated a ton of swing and miss. And like you said, he's been very, very good so far. So it's an interesting question. Look, there's still 61 players in Major League camp, so there are going to be quite a few more cuts. And not all the players that were well, I say cuts, but I should say reassignments is the better word to use. There will be far more reassignments. I mean, I was looking at Omar Cruz, who's kind of an upper level left-hander that I talked to yesterday. He didn't get reassigned today. In all likelihood, he will be at some point. So I don't know how much it means as far as Bradley's likelihood to be on the opening day roster. That would still seem like kind of a stretch to me, but the more you look at it, the more you see Rodriguez, you consider the fact that he is young and he wasn't part of those minor league reassignments today. I think it does make you start to think about, hey, is this somebody that, when the opportunity comes is going to be one of the first guys to get that chance in the major leagues? And the fact that the Padres, are dealing with some injuries in their bullpen right now as well. So we'll see. He's been very impressive so far. He's an electric arm that they're very excited about.
Talking to Sam Levitt, they just announced the Padres spring breakout roster as well, which does include Bradley Rodriguez. I feel like last year it included Jackson Merrill as well, and he ended up, of course, not being on the spring breakout roster. He made the team and actually had a pretty decent season.
Ended up on the All-Star roster
at the end of the year. But, the names that you'd expect, Cash Mayfield, Boston Bateman is on there. Braden Nett, who got reassigned today, is on there. Leo and Ethan, as you'd expect, are going to be playing in that game, which is, are you calling that? You were going to call that one again, and it got rained out last year. I remember we had plans for it, but it's an interesting thing they've done the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it really is. It's a very interesting game. Obviously it got rained out last year. It did get rescheduled in some capacity last year after the Padres season started in Korea. But it is an interesting game and really cool event they've put together, and they put a lot of effort into it, which I think is really cool on the part of Major League Baseball. And I will say this: seeing guys like a Boston Bateman or a Cash Mayfield per se, I think it's going to be really exciting. I actually saw Boston Bateman for the first time in a live BP yesterday here in Peoria. I saw him and Mayfield. Mayfield looked good, very smooth delivery. The guy that really, really popped to me was Bateman. He is big. He's 6'8", comes from a very high left-handed angle. You want to talk about easy gas and breaking pitches that really moved. I'll tell you what, it was only a live BP in early March. He's 19, but I was really impressed with Boston Bateman. He looks pretty tough to hit already. So yes, Ben, the good news is that hopefully we'll see those types of players in that spring breakout game a week from tomorrow against the A's spring breakout players. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Bateman's 19, right?
19
years old.
I told the story
like a full man
back in January when we first came back, but remember my Lyft driver when I was in Las Vegas was like family friends with the Batemans and has known Boston his whole life. Could not have spoken more highly of the I was wearing like a Padres hat, so he started talking to me. It was like he was so high on Boston Bateman, his family, his makeup, and everything. Who was that just over your shoulder?
That was voice of the Padres, Jesse
Ackland. Hi, Jesse. Handsome. Yeah, Boston, I mean, they think highly of him for sure.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch yesterday. And Mayfield looked good too, but with Bateman, he's big. And I thought it was he's one of those guys like when the scouts say it looks like they're playing catch, but it's 95 miles an hour. That's what it looked like to me. So I'm excited to see him. And look, we've obviously seen Salas and DeVries and Rodriguez and some of these guys in the Cactus League games, but some of the names that we haven't seen in that kind of setting, that'll be cool for that spring breakout game.
Well, Sammy, I know you got Mike Schilt coming up in a couple of minutes, so we will let you go, but appreciate your contributions as always. Have a good road.
Can you ask Schilty if he put Brooks and Dungan in the order on purpose today?
Yes, in the lineup, because the 8-9 hitters are Brooks and Dungan.
That's a country singer. Brooks and Dunn is
Brooks and Dungan. I think that's before my time. Brooks and Dunn.
Never heard of Brooks and Dunn. Oh my God, we are old.
Never mind.
Don't ask him. Actually, I don't want you to get in trouble.
Brooks, right?
Yeah, Kicks Brooks.
Actually, Sammy, ask him. Ben would like to know.
Ben wants to know.
No, Woods is very curious about this.
Ben Higgins, Channel 10.
Don't throw me. You know what? Mike Schilt already thinks he's kind of shaky on me to begin with.
Imagine being shaky on him.
Let's not add to the fuel.
Sammy.
All right, guys. All right. I'll see you. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Sammy. Which one of them passed? Didn't one of them pass away recently? I feel like
I don't know.
feel like
maybe
we
it was
lost one of
Kix
the
Brooks
or the Dunn.
Who's the Dunn? What's the name? Randy?
That doesn't sound right.
Eddie.
No.
Freddie Dunn?
I don't think you're even close.
Billy Dunn.
Kix and Ronnie.
Ronnie Dunn.
Who's alive?
Ronnie is alive.
Ronnie is alive.
Kix the
is
bucket.
alive.
Oh, damn it! Do you hear him?
Yeah, no, I heard. I'm ignoring him. I don't want to encourage him.
Jocelyn says
Kix is 69 years old.
So he didn't
Nice.
die.
Ronnie is 71 years old.
They're both alive.
Are they both alive?
Both alive.
Oh,
yeah.
hell yeah.
I thought we lost one of them.
Jocelyn said it didn't help you guys didn't take him to PF Chang's this season. No, it actually did help that we didn't take him to PF Chang's to torture him. We might as well have taken him to dinner at Guantanamo when we took him to PF Chang's. It might as well have been it might as well for him have been, hey, we're gonna go to this dumpster. Pick what you want out of it.
He doesn't take to the foreign food.
He does not, dude. No.
He had a lot of questions about
All of
every
it.
single item on the menu.
They put those lettuce wraps down in front of him, and it looked like his reaction was like they put a live goat down on the table. Really, like bah, bah, like
we were serving him some rare delicacy, like a balut or something.
He couldn't get his head around.
It's like, bro, it's a piece of lettuce with some beef in it or whatever.
Chicken chopped up in lettuce.
Chopped up
Sauce is actually pretty good.
And you put it in the lettuce wrap, you just eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked at that. He looked at that and was blown away.
No.
Yeah.
I apologize for killing either member of Brooks and Dunn. They're both with us.
they're
All right, we got to
still
take a
alive.
quick check in traffic. Don't go anywhere. Still moving on here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Eliminate Termite, the orange oil experts. Still a few problems out here, guys. One of them is crashed southbound 163 Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramp. They did clear this crash in Balboa Park, south 163 near the 5, so speeds are looking a little better there. Now, westbound King Freeway before Euclid, collision over the right shoulder. Also, West 8 Jackson Drive off-ramp, accident over the right shoulder. Up ahead at College, stalled vehicle in middle lanes. Northbound side of the 805, right at the East 8 connector ramp, we have reports of a large tumbleweed on that transition ramp. Northbound side of the 15 in the North County, right before the 78, there's a collision involving a couple cars there over to the right shoulder. Have termites? Eliminate Termite inspects, treats, and repairs termite damage, all with a full structural warranty. Their orange oil treatment is safe for people, pets, and the planet. No tent, no move out. Protect your home naturally. Schedule a free inspection at eliminatetermite.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Woods mentioned it earlier. We are officially 3 weeks from opening day for the San Diego Padres.
That is crazy.
It's too long. I wish we were 2 weeks away.
I feel like
I want it to be tomorrow, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like the playoffs were like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Offseason went by kind of quickly for as much as it dragged on at times.
Yeah. Carl says he was just in Cancun last week. So an elderly couple with an SD spring training hat. We thought they were from SD, but it turns out they were from Ohio, were actually Ryan Bergert's parents. That's pretty cool. Another good arm in the Padres system. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's more Padres hats around than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday on Twitter, there was Ludwig Oberg's caddy, Joe Scavron.
Was the caddy wearing it, or was
the caddy?
Oberg?
I think the caddy was wearing it.
Oh,
Joe,
that's cool.
So Joe was he was Ricky Fowler's caddy. He grew up in Murrieta, so he was a fan of the Padres growing up, and now he's Ludwig Oberg's caddy. But there was a shot of him in a Padres hat. There's definitely there's still more Dodger hats than anything. You're never going to get away from them, but I would say 50 times. I see 50 times more Padres hats than I did 10 years ago.
No question.
I mean, between the change to the brown and gold and the, uptick in interest to the team and 3 playoff runs in the last 5 years, superstar players who people are excited to represent and show the hat off, you see so much more Padres merch than you used to see, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a huge win for the Padres organization.
My wife's bought most of it, so yeah,
it's a good point.
Yes, I'm fearing opening day of turning her loose in the team store.
And it's the old, you got to spend some money to make some money. They spend a lot more on the roster.
Yep,
and then you see the benefits not just in attendance, but also in merchandise sales. And when you're at the games. Obviously, when you have more attendance, you sell more hot dogs and beers and sodas and everything. I mean, the calculus of that, I always wonder, like, how does it work? Like, if we invest another 20 million in our roster, are we going to get that back in attendance? Are we going to get that back in merchandise and concessions, or are we not? How do they think as executives in Major League Baseball? Like, what's a good return when you're like, okay, we're going to increase the payroll? It's not necessarily going to happen instantaneously, but if you do it, able to find a way to generate more revenues when you spend more money.
Well, I mean, putting a winner on the field helps. Having a team that you feel like can compete every single year. That's it. That's what you live for. Not only as a fan, but the owners that think the right way, instead of, well, no, let's continue to sell merch and beer and hot dogs, Ben, and we won't really invest in the product on the field.
The trick, though, is that if every owner, like if the Rockies owner, the Pirates owner, and every owner invested $100 million more in their team, you'd still have the same records and haves and have not. There would still be lousy teams and good teams in Major League Baseball. If they all started spending more, then everyone would be in the exact same place that they were.
Yeah.
You have to, like the Padres did, strategically do it when other teams are not doing
correct.
And that can make you stand out from the rest of the pack. If everyone just increased their payroll by $50 million, literally nothing would change. You'd all just be in the same spot that you were, because it's ultimately a zero-sum game. You can only win. Every game has a winner. Every game has a loser at the end of the season.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. We've got 1 hour to go here. We still have our biggest fan announcement. We'll do that right at the top of the hour when we come back. Paulie's got a Reindl report. There's some interesting football news. This was the week where they did the franchise for requesting trades and trying to change teams. So there's a lot of off-season activity in the NFL.
Dude, I've got a story. Woodsy sent it over. An imposter NBA agent and some of the antics that he was up to. Have that for you in the next hour.
All right, stay tuned. 60 minutes still to go with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. Final hour of Ben and Woods. Let me just start right away since it's 9 o'clock and get to our biggest fan announcement for the day. I know a lot of people tuning in, trying to win the night in the Odyssey Suite at a Padres game this season. 20 tickets, you and your friends. You can register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. But if you hear your name called, you get 10 minutes to call us back. If you do, then you're qualified for the grand prize drawing. And today's biggest fan is Tony DeRamo from San Diego. Tony, you are now on the clock. You have 10 minutes to call us at 833-288-0973 for your chance to qualify as today's biggest fan.
Well, never a fun day when something like this happens. It's the news has kind of trickled in and made its way into the chat and onto social media. Wanted to offer our condolences to Craig and Annie, who were a victim of some pretty hefty cuts across the board for our company, Odyssey. I had seen something this morning on a Radio Insider post that I follow on Instagram, and it essentially said, like, you know, it's going to be a really tough day at Odyssey across the country, and unfortunately, you know, we were not immune to that here at 97.3 The Fan, and Craig texted us as well, and they're not going to be on our station anymore. This is something I've had to do way too much in my career, with some talented people being kind of shown the door, and it's just the nature of this business now. And I'm really, really sorry for Craig and Annie. We love those guys, and it's just a tough business, man.
We
it's
just
so tough.
talked with our bosses, and they were heartbroken as well. I mean, absolutely no reflection on the work Craig or Annie has been doing. This is out of our hands, even in the building here, essentially, is what, we've been told. And I can't say everything, but this is something that is going on in the media industry.
Yeah.
I mean, in many different aspects, it's been a tough week for a lot of people.
It's such a brutal industry at times, man. And again, sometimes it's a lot of times actually in radio, it's not about the quality of work. It is about the nature of the business and the state of the business. So, man, I'm bummed for them. Listen, please remember if you're online today that people lost their jobs. That's all I want to remind you guys, to be kind. People lost their jobs today and now have to find something else. And, it's a bummer. You hate to see it happen to anybody. We've had it. It's happened across the street, and it bums me out when it happens across the street, because at the end of the day, yes, you're in competition with other radio stations and other radio hosts, but you're all in the same fraternity. You all get your ass up early and come to work. You all try to create content that drives listenership. And you hate to see people lose their gigs, man, especially people that you work with. It hits home. It definitely does. So shout out to those guys. We love you guys. We're sorry. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, it's happened to all of us in this business. It will happen again, unfortunately, as it doesn't. And we're not the only business, obviously.
No.
There are, every industry, has their periods where they have cuts and just have to make some unpleasant choices that unfortunately, it just, it's not just Craig and Annie in our building, unfortunately, today. And, I don't want to share any other news for anybody else, but, we lost some other people as well. So, just thinking about them and other people that I've worked with that have gotten some similar bad news this week.
And so we're not going to be national. We're working on some stuff behind the scenes to try to keep it local and live, and also trying to potentially maybe get the games on the next couple of days, which would be good.
Yeah.
Listen to the Padres. But yeah,
we may have a little best of Ben and Woods today.
Yeah.
Something, or just, our first couple of hours of the show, just to
replay.
Get you to 12 o'clock, and hopefully we can get you the Padres Rangers game today.
Can you replay a good show?
Yeah.
Paulie?
Why today?
Gosh, dude. Play a good show. Replay a good show if you have to. It's a bummer, man. It's 15 years in this business, Benny. You've been in it longer than I have, but man, it's happened way too many times, and it's happened to every media company. It's across the board. It's radio, it's television,
and you
print.
Everyone has their own opinions about, what's wrong with the media today. In this case, I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily. This business is supported by going out and selling advertising.
Yeah.
And when other businesses go, hey, we are also seeing some potential downturns. One of the first things they're going to do is, well, let's not spend as much on advertising this year and see if that can save us some money before we have to make some cuts. And then you don't spend the money on the advertising. Well, the places that rely on that advertising to make their living, then they have to make some hard choices. And that's the vicious circle that goes around and around and around. But again, this is not a performance issue in any way, shape, or form. We loved working with Craig and Annie, and we absolutely wish them nothing but the very best. And I think I don't want to speak for you guys, but I always feel a little bit of survivor's guilt at this
every
point
time
as well.
100%, dude. No question. I mean, that's exactly how I feel, right? It's exactly how I feel. It's terrible.
But yes, very tough day here in the building.
Yep.
We obviously, gonna continue to go on here, and
they're gonna make us do 8 hours, aren't they?
Hey,
it's like, oh man,
long day,
man.
I'm not criticizing. There's nothing to criticize here. I don't think of anyone in our building. This comes from above. It is interesting when you see internal criticisms, though. Did you see Justin Turner offering a very blunt assessment of the Seattle Mariners? Former Mariner now, Justin Turner, signed with the Cubs, right?
He's with the Cubs.
With the Cubs now, but he was pretty scathing with some comments that he made about the Seattle Mariners and talking about a team that, he was traded to last year. He was supposed to be kind of a bat to help them get to the postseason. They have one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. The Seattle Mariners starting rotation is nasty, but they don't have a lot of offense. And he came out with some pretty spicy comments going, how can you be a franchise that is one win away from making the playoffs and not do more than just, what they did in the offseason offensively? What did they do this offseason? Polanco?
Solano.
Yeah, and Donovan Solano they signed, and they signed Jorge Polanco. It was a very veteran infielder, Jorge Polanco, and Donovan Solano was what they did to try to bolster their offense. There were
Arozarena's
they traded for him.
They traded for him last year. He's there. But they did really. Solano and Polanco right now. He said essentially, I thought Pete Alonso was a slam dunk. How can you not go after him? You kidding me? That's pretty bold talk from Justin Turner.
He talked to USA Today Sports. He said, honestly, as much as I wanted to be back there, if I was the only piece they brought back in, I would be saying the same thing. What the hell are we doing? Are you trying? There's not going to be a better time to go for it. So I don't know what they're doing. I'm very confused. It's a head scratcher for me.
You can put their rotation up against everyone. It's a top three.
Logan Gilbert, George Kirby,
top
Luis
three.
Castillo, Brian Wu, Bryce Miller.
Top three. It's
it's a solid five.
It's Dodgers, it's Mariners, it's Diamondbacks,
Padres,
and probably the top 6 or 7. The Yankees have a good rotation. It's crazy. We talked about it a lot, but the Mariners have just not been able to add that piece. But they could have done it. They just chose not to.
He says, I thought this is Turner speaking. I thought Pete Alonso was a slam dunk. How do you not go after him?
I just
did you say that? Sorry, reading ahead while you were saying that. Give me a second here. It's been a stressful few minutes.
Okay. Also, he was really surprised they didn't go after Pete Alonso.
All right.
He thought that was potentially a slam dunk for them.
Sorry.
Yeah, you see what Justin Turner said, by the
way,
yesterday?
I'd be pretty pissed if I was a Mariners fan. I would be. I'd be pretty
pissed.
I mean, Softy's pissed.
It goes back to, the Jerry DiPoto comments of like,
hey, as long as what does he say?
Winning 84,
40% or
what
something.
Is that? Like,
I can't
we
remember.
need to win 55% of games, that gives us a chance to make the playoffs, and we're not really trying to do any more than that. Well, yeah, theoretically, I understand what you're saying, like just get into the postseason, but you keep coming up short, just a little bit short. Is that not a sign that perhaps you've not done quite enough, that there's just a little bit more that needs to be done to get you where you want to go?
Yeah. You'd be pretty bummed to be an M's fan right now with that rotation. And again, what do they say, man? Pitching and defense wins championships. You've got the arms, you got the bullpen, and how are you going to scratch out enough to bolster that rotation?
And Justin Turner's point is that when you are so close, that is the time.
Yes.
That's the time when you can really make a difference with a star player.
It's a bummer.
You put the foundation in place, then you go for it. That's why the Padres spent, remember, 2017, 18, and 19, trying to retool, bringing up guys in the minors, developing guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. so that when they got to this decade, they could start investing in players that would then put them over the top. And they successfully did in 3 of the last 5 seasons.
Yep.
Went over the top with what they did, spending. And they did a lot more than I would ever expect the Mariners to do. But the Mariners could do more.
They could and they should. And again, that's coming from a guy that was there last year and probably wasn't too happy about missing the playoffs by 1 game.
Yeah, he's coming from a long-term perspective with the Dodgers, where he was making the playoffs every single year. Reality with the Blue Jays and the Mariners is now the Cubs is a little bit different than playing for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
it's not as assured a thing that you're going to go to the playoffs every single year when you're on teams that don't have Dodgers across the front of their uniforms.
Yep.
All right, let's take a little time out. I think we could all use just a moment to gather ourselves. Before we do so, we are going to give away some Padres spring training tickets in our next segment. Before we do so, would like to talk about SDFatLoss.com. Spring is here. Summer is just around the corner. Going to have the shorts, the bathing suits coming out tonight. I know it doesn't look like it today, but it will be here. And if you started now with the SD Fat Loss program, you could lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight by the time we got to May, which is absolutely amazing. Think about that mathematically. Up to a pound of fat per day. For me, it meant 40 pounds of weight loss in 60 days. SDFatLoss.com is a doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program, helping you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely. No drugs or injections, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or even exercise required. Just follow the plan, eat what you're supposed to eat when you're supposed to eat, real foods like steak and chicken and vegetables, and watch the weight come off. There's no better encouragement than getting on the scale and seeing those numbers go down day after day. And I've been able to keep the weight off as well. It's sustainable. You're not relying on the injections. You don't switch off different foods. You just keep eating the foods you've been eating, and the weight stays off. Right now, you get $200 off during their spring special, just an added incentive to check out the program like so many Tier 1s have, losing thousands of pounds in San Diego alone by going to SDFatLoss.com to schedule your free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. Some tickets to Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona in a couple of minutes, where you can go check out either in the games or in the backfields of Peoria, Arizona, some of the Padres' top prospects. And I just saw, this is interesting. So AJ Cassavell put out his Padres.com newsletter this morning, and he has a rundown of the best tools in the Padres minor leagues of prospects. And this is based on the scouting. You know how baseball's scouting scale works, Paulie, from players are graded from 20 to 80,
yes,
which is always weird. Like 20 is the kind of the lowest possible score, and 80 is the best score. Why not just do it from, 0 to 100? I have no idea why baseball does it this way, but you rarely see any 20s. I rarely see any 80s. It's always usually then between like 30 and 70 realistically on how they grade each player on what skills they have individually. And this is at least what scouts, and I'm not exactly sure whose numbers these are, but this is like the MLB pipeline scouting grades for the Padres minor leaguers. Woods is back. So Woods, this is AJ Cassavell from MLB Pipeline, the top tools
AJ
in the Padres organization on the scouting scale. You know the scouting scale, so I don't need to explain it again. 20 to 80. Best hitting tool. So just like raw hitting ability, think Luis Ariz is one of the, he would be like 75 to 80 on the hitting tool.
Yeah.
In the minor leagues, they have Leo DeVries is the best tool, 60. Power. So that's just raw, like power at the plate.
I know what power.
Cale Fountain, 60.
Really?
Run. So that's speed.
Speed.
Kai Roberts, 70. That is a high score.
That is.
Now, I don't know Kai Roberts or what else he can do, but he is apparently very, very fast. Arm, and this is a non-pitching arm. Ethan Salas with a 60. Also, Sean Barnett and Kavaris Tears also have 60 on their arm scale.
Hellish raw power.
Defense, which is just an overall, how good of a defensive player you are.
These
I don't need to explain everything.
These explanations are incredible. Woodsy defense. You catch the ball, you throw the ball.
Again,
right?
Ethan Salas, defense 70 on his defensive scale.
Can you run through them again? Power. What is that?
Cale Fountain. Oh, what's power?
Yeah.
What's your ability to hit the ball a long way?
Long way. Hit it hard.
Long way hard.
Thank you.
All right. Fastball. That would be
that's the heater.
Bradley Rodriguez, 65 fastball, and Sean Reynolds also 65 on the fastball.
Highest
scale.
grade is 80.
80 is the highest spot, which is weird. Like I was telling Paulie, why not just do it 0 to 100? They do it 20 to 80.
Of course they do.
And there's no one ever gets an 80 on anything, like ever. Curveball. Tyson Neighbors. Been hearing a little bit about him. 60 curveball. Also Boston Bateman. 60 on the curveball.
Got the hammer.
Slider. Also Tyson Neighbors with a 60. So Tyson Neighbors apparently is a breaking ball machine. Isaiah Lowe also with a 60 on his slider. Changeup, 65. Again, Bradley Rodriguez. Pretty impressive to have both the best fastball and the best changeup.
Great combo
in the minor league system.
It's great
no
combo.
wonder they're taking a longer, harder look at him at spring training camp this year.
It's a fantastic combo.
Cutter, Francis Pena.
Yep.
With the 60, and then control, which is the overall package on, throwing it where you want to.
Right.
Cash Mayfield, 55.
Nice.
As well as Humberto Cruz at the 55.
Speaking of sliders and whatnot, Benny, did you see the inning by Robert Suarez yesterday?
I did.
Struck
out too.
Looked much, much better.
Yeah.
And Scan was talking about it. Our buddy Clark just tweeted about it as well. Throwing the gyro slider, Ben. Scan was talking about it yesterday. And yeah,
and 6 changeups too. It wasn't just 98%
yep.
fastballs.
Good. I mean, which is good, right? Like Bobby Fastball's obviously got into a little rhythm last year. And how many in a row did he throw?
Ooh, what was the final
number?
It was several outings worth of nothing but fastballs.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a lot. I mean, it was like crazy when you would tune in and watch and, tune in and watch and go, oh my God, he's still just doing
79 consecutive fastballs.
Yeah.
During which he allowed no runs, 2 singles, and 2 walks.
Yeah. And so he wanted,
and that was over like 6 games.
Obviously, they want him to expand the repertoire a little bit to make yourself a little bit tougher to hit. And he did get timed up. He did get timed up by the end of the year and had a good playoffs for us. But, with him yesterday, Scan was kind of explaining the difference in the gyro slider and the regular slider. I don't get it. I don't really understand. Is it how it breaks? I have no idea. Sweeper and slider are different. That's kind of been proven out. But yeah, man, the more pitches he can command makes him even nastier. So that's good.
I wonder if that long string of fastballs and having that success didn't, in fact, perhaps hurt him later in the year. It's one of those things like, hey, I feel comfortable doing this. I've had success doing this. I'm just going to keep relying on it. The great thing, what separates major league players even from the best minor leaguers is their ability to adjust.
That's it. And
you give them the same look enough times, major league hitters eventually do adjust. And while he won those battles, I mean, I don't remember how many times, there was a line drive at someone, a deep fly ball that didn't quite get out. And, he ended up getting a few saves that way. No doubt he did over the course of the season, but it's human nature to just go, I'm having success. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But sometimes in baseball, you got to fix things before they're broken, or you're going to get taken advantage of by opponents. You have to constantly be evolving a little bit as a Major League Baseball player because the other teams are absolutely trying to evolve and adjust to you. If you're having some success.
Yeah, and he looked good yesterday, and that's an encouraging sign, whether it's here for the Padres, Benny, or whether he is shipped off somewhere else, which is, still kind of tends to be the persistent rumor going around. But it's definitely featured a couple of new pitches and looked good doing it.
I think Jackson Merrill showed himself to be a well above average adjuster last year. And it's not like he's making major swing changes in the middle of the year, which you don't want to do, but he showed an uncanny ability for a rookie. If he went into a short slump, get out of it quickly. Obviously, he saw different looks. There was a time during this season where they were working him inside. Guess what? All of a sudden, he started driving the ball out. So, teams had to start working him outside. What did he do? A lot of line drives the other way. He was able to adjust very quickly during his rookie season in a way you don't see young players able to do. I think it's one of the main reasons why everybody's so high on Jackson Merrill. It's not like the league didn't try to figure him out. They did, and he was able to already adjust. And when they say, well, now it's his second year, the book is out on Jackson Merrill. He had, how many at-bats do you have?
A lot,
almost 600 or so at-bats last year.
The book was out
long before the end of last season.
Yeah, man. It's going to be fun to watch him. It's going to be interesting. You brought it up kind of gingerly at spring training, but it's something that everybody thinks about. It's something that everybody wants to avoid. The sophomore slump, certainly. You don't want to put it out into the ether. But yeah, man. I mean, he showed the ability so many times last year. He never went into anything really prolonged. And he's been really adept at hitting the ball the other way, taking what they give him, taking his walks when he needs to. So it's so funny, man. I was thinking back to his season, and I didn't go back and watch every AB. I just remember how odd it was to watch him expand the zone in the playoffs. In the playoffs, where everything's different, everything's ratcheted up, the pressure's up, especially in the 24 innings, swinging at pitches he never would have swung at. Just goes to show you, man, like, how different it is, those ABs in June and those ABs in October. And for him to expand, when he swung at a fastball, I get his eyes. I went, all right, we're done. Yeah. I go, we're done. That's it. It's over. Like, we're not
suppressing. He wasn't the only one.
No, they all did it. But to see him in particular, who really had not let himself go there all season in the playoffs against the Dodgers, really elite bullpen, was it's kind of the nail in the coffin for me. I went, all right, we're toast. If he's expanding.
It's telling how many guys, and it's not everyone, but it's a lot of major league players that they're locked in when they're driving the ball the other way. Manny is like that. Tatis 100%. Is like that.
Will Myers was that way.
Merrill is like that. Will Myers was like that.
That right center
you
gap.
You just knew that when they could drive the ball there, it doesn't mean that they're not going to pull a home run. In fact, they would more often pull home runs when they were, but you could tell. All right, when you hit a couple of line drives toward that right center field gap, if you're Manny, if you're Merrill, it's the other way into the left center gap. It feels like that's when they're locked in at the plate.
No question about it.
All right, let's give away some tickets to go see some of these prospects and Padres players in Peoria, Arizona. Our Padres spring training ticket giveaway. Be the fourth caller right now, 833-288-0973. You can win a 4-pack of tickets to the Peoria Sports Complex and qualify for our grand prize, 4 tickets to the Padres Guardians game at Petco Park on April 2nd. You can get your spring training tickets now at peoriabaseball.com. But call and win. Paulie will take your call at 833-288-0973. And then Paulie will come back with his Reindl Report, including the fake agent story.
David J. says, I'm sorely disappointed that Ben, in particular, doesn't know the 20/80 scale is based on how the standard distribution of a bell curve works.
Well, I know what a bell curve
that's
is.
like
50,
that's like Greek to
the
me.
majority of people are in the 50s, and then the outliers go out. But why can't you go all the way out to 100 and 0?
I don't know. This is
way
above.
There should be like one person at 100 and one person at 0.
But
no one can go above 80 and 20.
It's way above my pay grade.
I get it. It's very mathematical.
It is.
But I thank you, David. I appreciate that. All right, we'll come back. Final segment of Ben and Woods coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE000466.
Well, I am refreshed after that break, and it's time for Ben and Woods to talk about 7 Mile Casino, which is our place to play. If you are looking for something to do this weekend, may I suggest a brunch plan? Head down to Sammy's at 7 Mile for their Saturday and Sunday award-winning brunch, best in the South County. It's available 9 to 3 on weekend days, and then stick around for San Diego's best card room and play some exciting California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, Baccarat, or Pai Gow poker.
Yeah, buddy, it's a smoke-free environment, which I know I'm not going to run into this weekend as I am off to Las Vegas. That's not going to be the key in Las Vegas. But 7 Mile there's no slot machines there as well, which is another win for me. I can just go in and play cards and have some delicious food. Highly recommend the Kung Pao chicken. It is to die for, as is the Asian pork chop. Delicious food. Great people, friendly dealers. They got a great bar area, a great patio. Check it out for yourself, my friends. The proximity is really what drives it home. It's 7 Mile Casino. It's just 7 minutes from downtown.
Final segment of Ben and Woods here on a Thursday. Again, happy trails to Woodsy. Going to be off tomorrow on his way to Las Vegas in the bus. A lot of room in the back of that bus.
Indeed.
Is Bo still planning on raw dogging the drive?
No, he's going to go iPad. He's going to go with his iPad. So we're also leaving early, so hopefully they get in the back and just sleep till we get there.
Now, I wouldn't have gone completely silent on my drive. If I could just sleep in the back with an iPad, I would have done that.
That's true, but you would have needed somebody to drive.
Someone
you.
needs to drive.
Yeah.
So I don't mind when I'm driving. Driving is actually somewhat engaging,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
You need to actually be engaged when you drive.
Part of it, Not saying I never listen to anything, but anyway, have a good drive tomorrow on your way to Las Vegas.
Maybe you'll be listening to Maggie and Perloff on your way through a Barstow or something tomorrow.
Yeah. You can. If you leave early enough, you can get a lot of good Maggie and Perloff in.
I think I'm going to pass. I think Hannah's going to want to put the Eagles,
You do that when you go to a concert, you listen to the band beforehand
pre and post.
Yeah.
I do it both. On the drive home, I do it. That's who I am.
I could see going the other way as well, knowing I'm about to hear a lot of them.
Oh, no.
Listen to something else instead.
No, it gets me really excited, on the way out there to listen to listen to the band I'm going to go see.
All right, that's fine. I get that. It's like listening to Sammy's pregame show on the way into a Padres game.
It's like a pregame.
Get you hyped up for it. All right, let's check traffic one last time, and then Paulie's got some final headlines for us with the Reindl Report.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Get a little break from the rain right now, guys, but don't get too comfortable because there's more coming this way. So this afternoon's commute could prove to be a challenging one. Right now, we're just dealing with some slick roadways around various parts of the county, thanks to earlier scattered showers. Fortunately, no incidents or accidents to report. That looks like things are starting to wind down pretty nicely around the county. Just continue to take it extra carefully out there, especially on those transition ramps. You might even still find some ponding thanks to those earlier showers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Paul.
It is the Reindl Report, and it's brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. Now open in Balboa Park and Sorrento Valley. All right, let's get started here. NFL, Benny kind of teased it a little bit earlier in the morning. We've seen a lot of the franchise tags, kind of that stage in the NFL offseason in between the combine and the draft. And we also saw a big signing yesterday. In fact, a historic signing as the Raiders made defensive end Max Crosby the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history with a 3-year, $106.5 million contract
Good player,
extension.
man.
He's a really good player.
Good player.
And so now you have the Raiders with that huge extension. Still probably trying to figure out their quarterback situation. Yeah. You hired Pete Carroll. What does the outlook look like for the the Las Vegas?
Well, I mean,
who's their quarterback?
Yeah, if you get a quarterback, you might have a shot.
Aaron Rodgers,
Russell Wilson expected to be released.
Geno Smith might be available. Sam Darnold is now a free agent. Do you want to pay a ton of money for those guys? Are you that close that Sam Darnold or Geno Smith makes a difference? Russell Wilson, do you draft Shedeur Sanders if he falls to you? What are they? 6th pick, somewhere around there. I mean, who's the quarterback? Makes a huge difference.
It's huge.
Now, Max Crosby, really good player, but obviously not enough of a difference maker to keep them from being a really bad team this last year. Sure. And you just spent a lot of money on your cap on him. It's funny. Jackson Dart.
He's my favorite quarterback.
Don't think Cam Ward's going to make it to him.
I don't think so.
Jackson Dart might, though.
He might.
So
are they 6th?
One theory. I think they're 6th. That sounds right. One theory would be you draft like Jackson Dart and you acquire like a Russell Wilson as a mentor type situation. It's funny though. Yesterday we were talking about the highest deal ever for a running back for Saquon Barkley, just over $21 million. Yeah. The next day, Max Crosby's getting $35.5 million. I mean, running backs
they just take it.
Mama,
man.
Don't let your babies grow up to be running backs.
Exactly right.
3-year, $106.5 million extension, 91.5 guaranteed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I just became a Raider fan too. I don't even know who my quarterback is, but I'm glad we got Max Crosby.
When you figure it out, you'll let us
Did
know.
you see the?
I'll be in Vegas. I need to get my Raiders gear. Oh, this is
Boots
great.
on the ground
Boots
out
on the
there.
ground
Yeah.
out there.
Some
Paulie.
intel.
Did you see the
calling
DK Met? The Seattle Seahawks are retrenching as well.
They are, and they got some guys that want out of there.
Yeah, DK Metcalf wants trade. They released Tyler Lockett yesterday. Geno Smith could be available. It sounds like a rebuild somewhat situation in Seattle. I would think with both Devontae Adams and now, he's been released by the Jets and DK Metcalf is up for trade. Teams that need skill position players would be interested.
You're saying DK to the Chargers.
And teams that just cleared $25 million in cap space by releasing Joey Bosa. I mean, put 2 and 2 together. I'd be shocked if either Devontae Adams or DK Metcalf, one of them wasn't a Los Angeles Charger by the end of the offseason.
100%.
That's fair. All right. Got a story here out of Florida. Shocker. A man who was impersonating an NBA agent was recently arrested. Well, you just lie. That's all you have to do.
Right.
He was arrested
technically, you kind of have to be certified, I guess, to be a real agent. But,
but if you're just talking to somebody on the street or something.
Pretty much anyone can say I'm an agent. I don't have any clients, but I am an agent.
Right. He was arrested after.
Kind of what our agent does.
You would worry that he's listening to be offended.
But I don't know that he's ever listened, actually. So,
wait, what station you guys on again? Oh man, no, this man, Jathan Gilder is his name, and he was arrested in Orlando. He was accused of stealing almost $800,000 worth of earrings, and then when he was confronted by the police,
a good bit.
He swallowed the earrings.
They're mine now.
I mean,
come get them.
Can you explain this a little further?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So, according to court documents, Jathan, Jaythan,
Jathan Thief?
Jathan Thief?
He was at a Tiffany store, jewelry store at Mall of Millennia in Orlando, and he told the employees that he was shopping for some high-end jewelry on behalf of an unnamed Orlando Magic player.
It's a good bit.
Fake agent.
Fake agent.
Yeah.
Fake agents. Oh,
okay.
Never mind.
The manager took a couple of employees, and they took Jathan Thief. They took Jason up to this like VIP room.
They have like an extra VIP room at Tiffany.
Oh yeah, the one-on-one exclusive.
I got my wedding ring there.
Did you?
But I didn't go to a VIP. Well, I mean, they went to the back when we were like looking at it.
Is it $800,000?
It's not.
That's probably why.
I mean, there's a lot of security at those Tiffany stores.
Oh,
there's big, heavy cases and security guards and everything. So
he goes up to this VIP room with a couple of store associates. He's looking at all of these high-end, extremely expensive pieces of jewelry, and he allegedly grabbed a ring and some earrings, and the total valuation was like $769,000.
Right, but he's still in the store,
and he attempted to run. And it says here that police tried to stop him. They managed to knock the ring out of his hand.
Right,
he was still able to escape with the pricey earrings. Police did catch up with him a little while later, and when they were trying to get him into custody and tell him why he was being arrested, they claimed that he swallowed the items that he stole.
So they saw him do this.
Yeah.
So they knew where they went. They saw him.
He's in this like the VIP. He just like snatched it and tried to
run.
run.
Okay, and then when they caught him, he still has the earrings.
He's like,
and he goes,
"What earrings?
Yeah. What does he think? I mean, I'm sure there was not a great deal of thought that went into this.
Says here, police alleged a scan at a nearby jail revealed the suspected earrings were inside his stomach. And I'm looking at an X-ray.
Does he think it's
with
like
earrings
when
in it.
I mean, I've seen it in movies, like the police raid the door and you go flush your drugs down the toilet? That he thought, oh well, if there's no evidence, they can't charge me with a crime. But you're not destroying the evidence. It's just.
But no, the scan showed the earrings were inside his stomach, and they stated that the items will need to be collected.
Correct.
after they are passed through his system.
Whose job is that? That is a bad job.
Eat your carrots.
Carrot with a K. Nice.
That's more of a Ben joke.
I mean, so they have to, someone has to, every time he has a movement now, someone has to sift through
Number
it to see
two with a towel.
That was the one that
with one of those, the jewelry felts that they use. Like, all right, go ahead. It's disgusting.
What a horrible job.
It's not a
I'd
job.
say he should have to do it
He's going to have
himself.
to do it and find it and give it back.
But I don't think he's that motivated to find it, because if they never find the evidence, it never came out. What do? Flushes it down the toilet. It's gone. It's like, you say you have this scan. I'm sure it doesn't look like, I'm sure there's something metallic, but can they really prove it in court that it was really the earrings if they couldn't find the earrings? Someone's going to have to do that.
Who wants to buy those now?
Yeah.
So those are ruined. I'd be like, you know what? You're going to go to prison. Just
They
keep
have those
them.
jewelry cleaners. I mean, I don't think you do you have to is there like a disclosure form? You know, like when you buy a car that's been in an accident, you have to disclose that, or your house has water damage, you have to disclose that. If your earrings were swallowed and then
came out, do
you have to tell that to the person who's buying
half
it?
off? Get them at a discount. Hey, babe, I got you these. Well, oh my God, how did you afford these? Well, they were actually half off.
It's like
is that like the lab-grown diamonds as opposed to the real diamonds?
They were covered in duty.
No,
they're not lab-grown.
You can go to Best Buy, or I think other stores as well, but I know Best Buy for sure. You can get the open box price.
Open box price, yep.
You know, maybe it's a $600 television.
The
but
display model.
One was
out on the
open.
thing. Yeah.
Somebody maybe even tried to install it at their home, and they said, you know what, this isn't for me. It's an open box. You can get it for half off or something.
I don't think it's going to be
earrings.
as fun to pass those as he thinks it. I mean, for $700,000, this is a big earring. Those are.
I mean, are they the kind with the pokey
back?
Pokey back?
I would imagine, but I doubt very much they're clip-on. Very much. That could be even worse. They clip on. Disgusting, dude.
All right, and then finally,
and he's not an agent. He's not anyone's real.
No,
agent.
That was his cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally, kind of going back in time a couple of years ago to another Reindl Report story. You guys remember, I think this was like in 2022, we talked about, there was like some horror movie that was in production about Winnie the Pooh, because Winnie the Pooh at that time had made its way into the public domain, meaning anybody could license it and run with it and create products and movies with the licensing.
We could call our show Ben and Woods and Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
Yeah, we could.
Wouldn't have to license it to anyone.
I think recently, like Steamboat Willie, the original like Mickey Mouse, went into public domain, and it happens after like, is it 99 years? I think
something like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that was Winnie the Pooh, and the same directors that made that. It looked like a horrible movie. Well, they're at it again, and the latest movie is called Bambi the Reckoning. Yeah. It says, as seen in the trailer, a grief-stricken Bambi who has mutated to have a mouthful of very sharp teeth. He looks like an evil deer.
Bambi's a girl, right? Bambi a boy deer or a doe?
It says his, so
really
goes on the prowl after the death of his mother. While on the hunt, the deer goes after some unlucky folks in the woods and vacationing countryside. Using his antlers, Bambi decapitates his prey before tearing into their flesh. So we've had Winnie the Pooh, which was Blood and Honey was that movie, and they also had a sequel to that. They're working on Bambi, Bambi the
Reckoning.
The Reckoning. And then they're also working on Pinocchio Unstrung, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
Pinocchio Unstrung sounds kind of creepy. Like, there's no more strings.
Really creepy. And then all of those movies, you know how like I don't watch those movies, but all the Marvel movies, they have their individual franchises, and then there's the Marvel verse, and you'll have, Final Four where they all get together or something in a movie. That's kind of what these directors are going with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Bambi, Peter Pan, Pinocchio. They're going to reunite for a crossover film, which is set to go into production this summer, and they're calling it, instead of the Marvel verse, it's the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, the Poohniverse.
The Poohniverse?
Monsters Assemble.
There's a lot of poo in this.
So you're going to have an evil Bambi, an evil Pinocchio, an evil Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, these aren't Disney properties. These are now available to everybody. This has nothing to do with Disney.
The Poonaverse.
Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but this is the Poonaverse.
Say it again.
Poonaverse?
One more time.
Poonaverse.
Oh. Poonaverse.
Yeah, I guess I didn't ever think about that. Yeah, Bambi is a male deer in the Disney film. I mean, Bambi is generally a name not associated with guys.
With exotic dancers.
Is there anyone actually named Bambi?
I'm sure.
Like birth name Bambi?
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Like, I'm a ophthalmologist, like
Dr. Bambi Higgins.
Dr. Bambi.
Yeah.
Do a lot worse.
I mean, you're not consigned to one profession. Just because your parents named you
like,
Bambi doesn't mean you have to become an exotic dancer.
It's true.
Do whatever you want with
Bambi's
your life.
in the audience right now. Right?
Is there?
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, do you just go by your middle name at that point if you want to be taken more seriously? Or
The
is that
Poonaverse. Can't stop saying it.
The official tagline says here, after a mother and son get in a car wreck, they soon become hunted by Bambi, a mutated, grief-stricken deer on a deadly rampage, seeking revenge for the death of his mother.
I'd rather pass those earrings than watch that. I really would. I would rather pass those earrings than watch any of the Poonaverse movies. I didn't even watch Cocaine Bear. Did you guys see it?
No.
I still haven't seen it.
That was like nominated for like awards.
Yeah,
wasn't
my friend was the executive producer. We had him on the show. Remember?
We did. Yes.
Yeah. Had him on the show. Still have not actually seen his movie.
It pops up on like Amazon Prime or whatever. I'm like, I can't do it, man. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it yet.
I mean, most people seem to have liked it.
I tried to watch the Kieran Culkin, Jesse Eisenberg movie.
The one where they go back to
Poland.
Poland, yeah.
And I fell asleep like 3 times. He won the Academy Award for it.
It sounds like an Oscar nominated.
Sounds
movie.
like an Oscar movie, to be honest. Yeah, I tried to watch it the last 2 nights. I fell asleep. I made it about 15 minutes night 1, about 17 minutes night 2.
Maybe try earlier in the day.
That could just be me, but
I finished that show on Netflix I told you about, Running Point.
Yeah, Running
with
Point.
Kate Hudson, the loose adaptation of like the Lakers and Jeannie Buss story. And Chet Hanks, I might be his biggest fan. He was outstanding in that show.
I watched a few minutes of it. I was in the mood. It was on Tuesday. He was fantastic.
He's
in the
really
one little
good.
part I saw.
Stole the show.
Gentlemen, have a great time tomorrow without me. Wish me
fun
well.
in Sin City.
I will have a very good time.
More like
Again,
Sinless City with my kids.
Want to wish the best to our colleagues, Annie and Craig. We're going to have more Ben and Woods from earlier in the show coming up next in the Padres game coming up at noon here on 97.3 The Fan. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody. So long.